All right, welcome in, welcome in. We are live on a Friday night back again. The REMINGTOM pod is here. Thank you for joining us. And tonight, it's a good night to focus on some history tonight. We got, of course, the anniversary of one of the great heat check performances, one of the great individual, you don't want to just say like random sort of nights, but it's like, hey, a random quote unquote January NBA night. You're just going to get one of the great scoring performances. You never know what you're going to get from an NBA game. And 20 years ago, actually yesterday, to get the day exactly right, was the day that Kobe dropped his 81. So, the 20th anniversary of, again, a great NBA event like that, I feel like it is appropriate to, go back and relive the greatness of that type of achievement. But there is another great heat check performance that we do have to start with at least acknowledging, and there was some other big news this weekend. The Oscars, the Oscar nominations did get announced, and you knew that we were going to be keeping an eye on it just to see what Sinners was going to be doing there. And there is obviously the sort of the way the awards thing is trending right now, like it has become like, hey, Sinners is our movie. Obviously it's getting nominations and stuff like that. There is that level of respect that it is getting to some degree, for sure, in the critical circles, like it is, again, in competition for one of the movies of the year. But I think if we went through and checked, the actual winners in a lot of these categories, it does seem like One Battle After Another has been doing pretty okay on the critical circuit right now in terms of winning the awards. So, there is that sort of like, what does a nomination mean this year? You just know the Academy is just going to give everything, pause to one battle after another. It seems like that's where, again, are we being industry insiders by following all the award shows? I don't know. It just seems like that's where everything is trending at this point. But to see that Sinners did get at least a record-setting amount of nominations was something. And, again, I don't know if that is the win in itself, where now then they actually go through and the winners in the categories, again, that it turns into something different. And I don't even know, if a movie like One Battle and After Another could set for, most wins as well, too. Could it take a record like that on the other side? But at least for the Academy to put Sinners in some type of historical, tier did seem appropriate, because, you can go check the tapes on our 25 for 25 list, and again, it's a biased list, so I could already be, what movies am I throwing on right now as well too. Again, that's an easy ranking. We don't have to put much thought into that. It doesn't even have to be high on the Rotten Tomatoes score. So just movies still in the rotation, but it's like, okay, it obviously has crossed over into sort of both of those categories of being, again, great piece of, if we could use the word, again, sort of loosely the context of a great piece of art like Sinners. It can be that. It can be obviously a great piece of art to be interpreted in a lot of ways, and then it can just be, again, quote unquote, it can just be a movie to be enjoyed as well too, and it's got great fun scenes and great pacing and, stuff like that. But is there an Oscar for best pacing? I don't know. Maybe that's what we need, more Oscars. So there we go. There's another one for you. Best pacing in a movie. I don't know. But, again, for them to at least recognize that there is, a historical element to this movie. And, again, this is where, the bias sets in as well, too, for us, when you're just talking about, like, the rotations and what are you gravitating toward for watching as well. Because I did have to, as you would, of course, look up what the record would be for a movie getting nominated. I want to say it was Titanic is number one. We could pull up the list here. Before as well. I guess, do we go, because I haven't actually seen, what the actual nominations are altogether. So I guess maybe we just start there and go through and see, maybe after that, what it is looking like against some of the other historical, high nominated ones, highly nominated ones, I should say, as well too, if we can get a good view anyways, at least of what a list would be. Now, full list, here we go. The link to get to the link, is that what it is these days? I guess so. And shout out Tiana Taylor in One Battle After Another, maybe getting another win as well too. Of course, the nominated, we get the actor that played Annie in Sinners getting nominated as well too, so you love to see it. Of course, got kind of a little bit of buzz in sort of the fandom pop culture spaces, of course, starring in being a supporting role in the Loki show, and definitely one of the standout pieces as well too. And I would have to think, tie everything to the MCU, it is what it is. But if you think about people that, at least for us as well too, got, and by the time, do you get to the MCU, like, we're great Phil fans for, learning about these people once they get there, But, again, for people to have emerged out of that and then to get the best and then to go on to be nominated for an Oscar, like, that is something. Again, the Marvel universe has obviously gotten to the point where it's been able to attract a certain level of star. But even, and, obviously it's built up guys like Hemsworth and Evans as well, too, into, like, major, blockbuster type of carry a movie, whatever. But again, in terms of names, obviously those guys are big names. But again, to get that type of critical acclaim, like Downey obviously was getting that critical acclaim before the MCU. Again, the MCU was sort of the team where it's like Downey was the former #1 overall pick, and then he finally got on the roster, and finally the coaching staff and all the pieces were put together. It's like, okay, now Downey's having the season finally that we thought he was going to have. Back in the day, not to really get the Downey thing as well too, but again, for sort of a new actor to emerge out of the MCU and then go on to get critical, because like even Chadwick as well too, shout out, rest in peace. We could go look at the filmography there, but there's obviously those critical acclaim. I mean, even Michael B. Jordan as well too. There's with his work with Coogler, there's obviously those, and The Wire as well too. There's obviously that critical acclaim type of acting. But yeah, shout out. That's phenomenal work by Loki, obviously. It is what it is. But obviously, again, in terms of and that is, and again, she's great in Sinner, I guess, or great in Loki, is it not? I would say, I guess, are you gonna nominate anything out of Loki? I guess maybe some of the technical stuff would have gotten nominated, because it's it's a beautifully crafted show as well too. But then you get a weapons performance getting nominated, sentimental value, 2 sentimental value performances. Maybe we could put this on the watch list. Another movie. You don't want to say, we're gonna say Sinners carried by the supporting cast, because I'm sure we're gonna go to Best Actor, and say see Michael B. Jordan's name there, and obviously, great case. But to raise the overall quality of the movie, I guess that's more so what it is the supporting cast raises the overall quality of the movie. And I guess sentimental value is there as well too. They got 2 nominations, at least in the Best Supporting Actress show. Shout out there as well too. So we'll see. I guess I'm assuming Tiana Taylor. You go Polymarket. I'm assuming Tiana Taylor is the favorite there, but we'll see. Best makeup and hairstyling: Frankenstein's, Kohu, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. I mean, you love to see, I guess, the Oscars really, paying respects to all types of films, I guess, really branching out. But, and shout out to The Rock, I guess, as well too, for, the get up there. They're really doing a good job in terms of the transformation, in terms of that biopic. And I guess, did The Rock earn a Best Actor nom? We'll have to see. Clearly, the Oscars have their eye on The Smashing Machine at this point as well too. But Frankenstein, you knew Frankenstein was going to get some technical nominations as well too. That was Del Toro? Guillermo del Toro? Del Toro? So, there's some Academy love there for him as a director. That's another, ambitious looking movie as well too. He's obviously going for some very creative designs in his stuff. So, and he is Shape of Water as well too. So, Frankenstein is like that. I don't know if that was his pitch, it was Shape of Water / Pinocchio. You get Frankenstein, but it is what it is. And of course, check off another box for Sinners. Shout out, nailing that as well too. And, again, it all goes for the case of it being, best. How can it be the best in every category? Somehow it's not going to win Best Picture. But maybe that's the sign. who's to say? And maybe this is the other thing to look at as well too. Has any of the non heavily nominated movies like this not won Best Picture as well too? Again, for film fans, more statistically, film fans that are more, obviously knowledgeable of the recall, the stats and stuff like that. There may be some obvious ones that we're missing, but again, to compare it like that and see its odds. But for score, Begonia, Frankenstein again, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners as well too. So Frankenstein, shout out again. I have to remember, did the scores stand out for that movie? Maybe we need to go back and replay that one on Spotify. The Begonia score, shout out. We have not been able to see Begonia yet. I don't know if it's hit streaming. Let me check here the IMDb real quick. I hate to do it off screen, pause, but since we'll added it, it's probably, I think it's already in the watch list, but just to double check. Oh, it is on Peacock. Oh, we might actually, you know what? I think maybe we've seen it on there and maybe we've just avoided it. But now that it's officially Oscar season's ramping up, it's here. I guess, it's here. Hey, with the nominations. Maybe we throw on Begonia. And there was some Oscar buzz for the performances in this one early on. So, again, Emma Stone, shout out. I'm assuming we're going to be watching it at some point. It is what it is. And definitely, a unique, fun plot as well, too. Obviously, Emma Stone, great with, picking those types of scripts, working with great directors and great creatives as well, too. But seems like crosses over for the right movies for them that they're making. But, yeah, I guess we'll have to watch on Peacock and score on Spotify as well, too. But, Sinners, as well. I would imagine that this is a lock. This has to be a lock. Like, Ludwig, shout out, is beginning his, do we say dynasty run as well? We'd have to go back and see what the most dominant run is for a guy winning best score. Actually, let's just go to the stats right now and see what we got for our guy Ludwig. I don't know if it's just the obvious names or at the top for the Academy. Is it Hans Zimmer and Jonathan Williams are the number 2 or the 1 and 2 for best score? But maybe it's like a Jerry Goldsmith sneaking in there, pause, and maybe a little higher on the list than you would assume. But records, superlatives, age superlatives, multiple nominations. Let's see what we got here. Alfred Newman, 43. John Williams, 49. Hey, yo. So is that the obvious number 1 right there? 49 nominations? Is that 49 different years? Because what else, I guess, is there, we'll have to go double check all the different types of score nominations. I don't know. We'll see. Best original song. Oh, you get the individual song nominations as well too. So wait, where's our guy Ludwig on this list? And where's Hans Zimmer at as well too? Let's see if we can find everybody. Locate everybody. Noted nominated composers known for their music mostly outside of film include Eric Copeland. Blah, 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 blah. We're just looking for Hans Zimmer. The Beatles. Hey yo. We got Andre Previn. Now we're in the weeds of guys that we don't even know for score. Oh, here we go. Hans Zimmer with 12. Göransson with 3. Göransson's only got 3 nominations overall. He's got 2 wins. So it's saying here, a high hit rate so far. What has he been nominated for from the Academy in terms of score? Of course, has worked with Coogler going way back as well too. And, now with some of the interviews that we've been watching with Coogler on the press run, them talking about them meeting in college and stuff, and their positive, they're coming up together early on as well too, have been, since the early days, been fans of each other's work and been collaborating. But for actually getting nominated here, let's see, list of awards and nominations by our guy Ludwig. What is he competing with for himself? Oh yeah, obviously Oppenheimer. Ayo. It is what it is. Oh, and Black Panther as well too. Ayo. Shout out. And then best song, Lift Me Up. He got a producer producer credit on Lift Me Up. And then Black Panther, best original score. Yeah, Oppenheimer as well too. And now also, in a category we haven't gotten to yet for 26, but I Lied to You for best original song as well in 26. So not his last two movies, because I guess Tenet didn't get nominated for score, even though it could have. If Tenet was more, if Tenet overall was better received, I think the Tenet score could have been nominated as well too. And it is great for Ludwig that, you know, hey, yo, he's able to have, you know, a lot of scores and a lot of different types of sounds. You know, I mean, Hans Zimmer is able to create soundscapes for all his different worlds as well too. You know, he's obviously one of the best. You know, John Williams, I guess we need to, you know, dig into John Paul's, you know, get into his discography a little bit more as well too. Obviously, he's iconic with the Star Wars stuff, but outside of that, I guess I don't know. Did he do all like the Terminators and stuff like that as well too? I guess should we look up his discography here? I don't know, but you know, the, of course, sort of orchestral stuff that he's doing with Oppenheimer. You've got the electric kind of, you know, techie stuff going on with Tenet, and then the blue stuff that he has with Sinners. It is pretty crazy. And this is, you know, again, this is obviously a new movie as well too. So we're just running up, you know, like we said, the movie, you know, the score compared to other movie scores, like the newness of it. We're gonna be inclined to, you know, throw it on, listen to it. You know, it's just going to be more entertaining to us now as well too, you know, again, because it's, you know, fresher compared to some of this other stuff. But it is arguably our favorite score from him, and he might be, like we said in the past as well, he might be pretty easily at this point our favorite composer. Like, again, you know, hey, yo, easy, you know, Hans Zimmer's obviously done some great work. So you just keep looking up movies, action movies that you like, and you're just like, well, it's like Roger Deakins with the cinematography. You're just like, oh yeah, I guess, you know, Hans Zimmer did just score everything back in the day. What were we watching? Oh yeah, we were watching didn't he score Home Alone as well too? It's just like literally, you know, you just like, I guess we're making a movie in the 90s and 2000s, you know, or just call Hans Zimmer. He's going to be doing the score for the movie. And, you know, again, obviously Nolan has been able to work with a level of proficiency and get Ludwig in the mix as well too the last couple of years. Same with him working with Coogler. So working with just those two guys as well, you know, and then those guys being like the two biggest hit rate guys in the industry, like all their movies are going to be successful. So, you know, again, his scores are going to be front and center in the industry in a way. Obviously, again, he's the leader right now, but yeah, he is. We're needing him to keep assembling these Academy Awards and these nominations, because we need to compile the stats to be able to build the case, I guess, against you know, like we're saying, John Williams and Hans Zimmer. Though if John Williams has 40 some nominations to Ludwig's couple, what was the total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It said 3, I guess, you know, not counting the 2 that he has for this year on the list that we were looking at. He scored Community as well too. The TV. Right. Yeah, The Mandalorian, you know, big in the Star Wars universe the last couple of years. But just just scoring a couple episodes of Community? Shout out. Those great sounding episodes. But it looks like he does have some work to do from an all-time standpoint. And Alfred Newman as well too. Let's see what we got here from Alfred Newman with a collective 92 nominations in various music categories. Wuthering Heights, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Mark of Zorro, How Green Was My Valley, The Song of Bernadette, Captain from Castile, All About Eve, Love Is a Many Splendored Thing, Anastasia, The Diary of Anne Frank, How the West Was Won, The Greatest Story Ever Told, Airport. Okay, so, you know, this guy's been around as well too. And that was just, I guess, just a snapshot of everything he's done. So this was another guy, just call Alfred Newman back in the day. He might have been the only guy working as well, too. This is, he was a busy man. Pause. And I thought maybe there was some, like, the animated version of some of these, but no, I guess the live action of The Masquerader, Dodsworth, Born to Dance, Whoopi, City Lights, Indiscreet. Indiscreet sounds like a fun movie name. How have we not had a movie in 100 years named Indiscreet? But You Only Live Once. The Hurricane. We have had a movie called The Hurricane. Is this the boxing movie? No, it's not the boxing movie. It's not. It is what it is. But it did The Hurricane with Denzel also get nominated for Best Score? I don't remember about that. Maybe if it had Ludwig on the score back in the day, it might have. But yeah, this is great. And with Coogler as well too. Coogler has done such a great job of having, and I don't think the soundtrack song version, like the pop album version, like I don't think the version of the album with Don Toliver on the vocals got nominated. Like I think it is the cinematic score that goes with the movie, but Coogler's movies always do have that, again, just like actual song album that get attached with it as well too, where Black Panther, of course, you had up until, Not Like Us, the biggest hit off of Kendrick, one of the biggest hits, I guess. Did it have more streams than Humble? I don't know about that. But, you had one of the biggest hits of Kendrick Lamar's career off of that album, off of that project with All the Stars. And, one of those major radio play, Spotify, 2 billion stream type of songs. But with this as well, too. And even like the Creeds. The Creeds have really fun albums attached to them. You have Dreamville on a couple of them, but always done a great job of assembling, that type of thing as well too. And speaking of Hans Zimmer, F1 was doing that a little bit. Apple was really committing everything, to the F1 movie. I guess that's one of the big talking points we were hearing was, would F1 get nominated for Best Picture? So we'll see here, I guess, as we keep scrolling through the list. I don't know. Would we not be against it? I guess we haven't seen too many other movies besides Sinners this year. It is what it is. We did see Weapons. Now we have to remember every new movie I guess we saw in 2025. And we didn't. I just know we haven't seen Predator Badlands yet, and I still, it's like, what are we doing? How have we not? There's no way we haven't had the time. We're just being bad fans of the franchise. It is what it is. But yeah, shout out. So I guess Daniel Blumberg is just sitting over here as the incumbent, as the defending champ for best score. I guess I don't know if he has a project in contention this year, but The Brutalist was the film that won last. I guess did Brody also won for best actor, right? As well too. This didn't win for best picture, but did have a couple. So, winning for score, winning for acting, but not winning for best picture. Is that the formula? Is there something there? What won best picture last year? Why am I not remembering what it was? It wasn't an animated film. It definitely wasn't an animated film. It wasn't an international film. Was it? Maybe it was. I don't know. Well, we'll definitely have to look that up, I guess. Remember, what was the best movie of the year, 12 months ago? But non-musical scores, best score for dramatic picture, best scoring of a musical picture. I guess maybe they've combined some of this stuff as of now, but it doesn't matter. Ludwig, I guess, is the favorite as well in any of the categories. But yeah, Hamnet is, of course, another heavily nominated movie. Nothing surprising. No movie like just stood out, I guess, just for the score. Again, all these movies were great movies and also just had fantastic scores with them as well too. But yeah, nothing like, this movie kind of sucked, but man, the music was just insane. It was awesome. It's not like Mission Impossible 2. You're just like, Hans Zimmer with the Spanish guitars is over here just throwing heat. But best live action short film. Speaking of Kobe, rest in peace, of course. This was his Academy Award in this category, if I'm not mistaken, was for the short film. Was it called Dear Basketball? Or it's not I Am Basketball, right? It's not a Will Smith version of basketball. Kobe and it's like a one man, I'll have to do it myself basketball team. I guess the I Am Basketball was his career, and then Dear Basketball was the letter that he wrote that won him the Oscars. I'm not sure, but and unfortunately we have not been keeping up, I guess, with short films. It is what it is. 2 people of chat. Going right up there with the ugly stepsister. The 2 people changing saliva is crazy. Is that a short scene from Sinners? I'm not sure, but it is. We'll just have to see if this is the one that got nominated. The Singers, A Friend of Dorothy, Jane Austen's period drama, and Butcher's Stain. So maybe some research to do there. I'm not sure. Best adapted screenplay, Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, in Train Dreams. So Begonia adapted screenplay. I guess I didn't realize it was a book before that. Hamnet, you got some Shakespeare attachments there. Of course, Frankenstein. Train Dreams, I guess if it's nominated for screenplay. Does that lock it in for Best Picture? But I guess I'm not as familiar with Train Dreams as well, too. Let's see what we got here for this film. Oh, a Netflix film. We've got Joel Edgerton in this, based on a 2011 novella. Okay, it's not giving away too much of the plot there. Based on Robert Granier, a logger and railroad worker who leads a life of unexpected depth and beauty in a rapidly changing? Is there like a somebody that invades his territory and he's got to fend him off? It looks like a revenge movie, but I don't know if it's going to get there. Let's see here. It says, okay, period, psychological drama. So is that just him just living out in the wilderness, kind of spiraling? Again, I'm expecting like an attack of some kind. And now all of a sudden, Joel Edgerton's got to fend off, who knows. But, and I guess we don't know exactly when this is set as well, too. Like, I don't know what country could also be trying to take over. Is this up in Canada somewhere? I don't know. I don't know why I think of, like, logging in Canada. Hey, yo, I think they have some trees up there. So it could make sense. But yeah, just, I guess, a life of unexpected depth and beauty in a rapidly changing America. Oh, I guess there we go. That's when it's set. The earliest 20th century. So, yeah, we will have to, I guess, maybe throw this one on the watch list as well, too. Felicity Jones. I mean, you imagine a stacked cast if it's going to be getting this type of appreciation. William H. Macy just hanging out in a supporting role over here. Paul Schneider? Is this the guy from Parks and Rec that was in, like, a season and just disappeared? I don't know if he's been in a project in anything since then. I mean, I forgot. Well, I guess how crazy are we gonna get here? Hey, yo, he's back, I guess is the point. And in this movie, so shout out. And I guess in movies as well too. I don't know if I've seen him in another movie. If I have, I just it hasn't registered. I guess we could check his filmography, but I like the mystique. I like the mystique of just running into Paul Schneider into a movie. Hey, yo, we've got, I guess, some other names of some guys that we're not as familiar with there. But yeah, looks interesting. I don't know why, I'm getting Nicolas Cage vibes. And, maybe again the lack of a revenge plot is why Nicolas Cage is not in this movie. But he's just like, well, I guess I'm not gonna fight anybody off with a chainsaw. I'm out. But yeah, then Joel Edgerton's like, fine, I'll do the Oscar-winning drama part of it. It is what it is. But best original screenplay, Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, A Sentimental Value. The other double actor nominee in the other category is here as well too. And then of course Coogler with Sinners. So this would have been we should actually go back and check and see if screenplay where that one's been going as well. Marty Supreme, I guess it is an original screenplay. I guess how based off of something does something have to be? It's like, okay, now all of a sudden it's not original. But I thought it was a biopic. That's how it was being branded a little bit. He was playing this very specific character and, the ping pong thing as well too. So, again, bad film fans that we probably haven't gone and seen this movie. Are we going to be the ticket that makes it the $100 million movie, I guess? Is it already there? I'm not sure. What was the Rotten Tomato score for? Oh, 93 for Marty Supreme. Shout out. He stars as directed by stars in the title role. Marty Supreme gets streaming date. Oh, okay. So it's hopefully headed to Tubi soon. And then we can watch it. But set in the 50s. Yeah, it's loosely based on American table tennis player Marty Reisman. So, again, obviously giving them credit for being able to craft, I guess, the rest of the story and, build the sort of vibe and the mystique of the movie. And I guess, Chalamet there as well, too. But, I don't know if is that original or adapted? Are we getting technical over here as well, too, I guess? Hey, yo. But Blue Moon by Robert Kaplan, and It Was Just an Accident by Jafar Panahi is also another name. Shout out. Hope hey, yo. Blue Moon. Oh, not just the Blue Moon. The Academy Award-winning movie. How is the Academy nominated? The Academy nominated movie not even to be mentioned. At least it's suggested over the beer. So that's something. At least it's got more momentum than that at the moment. Is that our guy Ethan Hawke? Our guy Ethan Hawke, 90%? Is he going to get a Best Actor nomination if this is in contention as well, too? The plot follows Hart as he reflects on himself on the opening night of Oklahoma, a new musical by his former colleague Richard Rogers. Is that Rogers and Hammerstein? The old musical duo. Hey, yo, we're locked in. But Richard Linklater, and written by Robert Capello, reportedly inspired by the letters of Elizabeth Wheeland to Lawrence Hart. The film stars Ethan Hawke, Margaret Qualley, and Bobby Cannavale, and Andrew Scott. And yeah, the plot follows Hart as he reflects on himself on the opening night of Oklahoma. Okay, interesting. I still don't really know what any of this means in terms of what this movie is. I guess a character study and Ethan Hawke just throwing heat as an actor, and Margaret Qualley looking like she might be in for a good role as well too. But I don't really know what this is. What is the A to B of this movie? Where does Ethan Hawke start? Where does he end? Ayo, by the end of this, is he? So wait, is he Hammers? He's Hammerstein then, I guess. If that's Rogers, or is Hart, or did he pair up with Hammerstein after that? I'm not sure, and I don't, maybe I'm not getting the names right for everybody there, but that might be another one for the watch list afterwards. And then It Was Just an Accident is the other one that is from the mind of the creator. Hey, yo. So we've got a thriller written and directed here, produced in a co-production between Iran, France, and Luxembourg. So we've got multiple people coming together. Pause to get this one. Follows a group of former Iranian political prisoners who face the question of whether to exact revenge on a man they believe to be their tormentor. The writer, who is critical of the Iranian government, has been in prison several times and had made the film without official filming permission from the Iranian authorities as well. So, I guess a lot going on with this one here. And definitely, I guess you see the critical acclaim across the board there. So definitely a heavy contender. Hey, yeah, we haven't seen that, I guess, to speak on the quality of it. So we don't know how that, I guess, from a screenplay standpoint would compare to Sinners, but obviously there is a lot of emotional weight there that you would assume being able to be displayed, interpreted on screen is, what is going to be driving, of course, the story being as compelling as it is. And, Coogler being able to bring that emotional gravity with Sinners as well, too, is able to help it provide the extra layers of depth there. But our guy Delroy Lindo grabbing a nom for Sinners. Benicio del Toro as well, too, for One Battle After Another. Everybody was like, Sean Penn's going to win everything after this performance in One Battle After Another. So, obviously he's getting nominated as well, too. Not surprising there. And Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value. Hey, yo, Skarsgård's in Sentimental Value? Is he in the Harkonnen getup in that? He just has to be in movies now as the Harkonnen guy. But Elordi at Frankenstein. So it's clearly the Oscars only watched 5 movies. There's no variety in terms of, again, they're just like, well, I guess these are your movies to choose from. You have One Battle After Another, Frankenstein, Sinners, and Sentimental Value. So again, it's good movies to choose from. Absolutely. Some all-time greats in here. Obviously, like we're saying Sinners, but, a shout out. I guess we're not just going to kick Elordi out of the group. Hey, yo, it is what it is. He is good as the Frankenstein, and it is, there's a lot going on there. You're playing a monster, I guess. You're playing the Frankenstein. So is that automatically Oscar type stuff? I don't know. But I mean, Lindo in Sinners is like actually not actually a performance. Again, hey, yo, shout out to Elordi. That disrespect a nomination there. But that's actually being able to, again, there's just a level of gravity that he's able to provide in those scenes where, again, there's like some, I would say for, now I guess another excuse to go back and rewatch it. But, obviously compared to a lot of the characters as well too in that movie, he had lived, a lot, more life, obviously than a lot of people there. So, chance to experience more things. But the emotional weight that he brings to that movie, again, his character has been through a lot, and he is, just so, I don't know if riveting is the right word for some of those. But like the scene, of course, where he's telling the story about him and his buddy in the car, like that is the scene where you're just like, oh, he is like, this is the, again, do you lock in the Oscar right there for the win? Maybe, but it's like, there's no way that there's going to be 5 better performances than this over the course of the year. Like, it's just so emotionally gripping in that moment. And then, the little variances in emotion where he is telling the story and then, goes into the singing afterwards. And, again, even the comedic elements later on as well too, when when chaos breaks loose, when they're fighting the vampires, he obviously becomes, a little bit more comedic relief there as well. So hits these different tones of the movie just perfectly. And it really is, like a magnum opus type role for him as well too. Obviously, like Da 5 Bloods, of course, maybe a little bit more, pound for pound, like, I don't know, more responsible for the offense in that movie. But this is like, it's like, okay, Delroy Lindo's the number 2 receiver, but he's just like completely destroyed the game and had his best performance ever. But in this movie, he was a little more like all carried the offense, but maybe like conference championship or in the Super Bowl. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know how it's not a lock. I don't know how it's not a lock. Again, I get that Sean Penn's doing a lot in one battle after another. Make no mistake, is it a great performance? It's a very compelling character. That's for sure. I get it. But, it just Delroy Lindo just had it's undeniable that it was the best performance. I guess Benicio del Toro as well. Maybe we gotta consider him there. I'm not sure. But best animated short film, Butterfly Forever Green, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Retirement Plan, and The Three Sisters. Okay, nothing that rings a bell there. It is what it is. But shout out. Best casting? Oh, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent in Sinners. Also, of course, getting a nom there. The Secret Agent, what do we got going on? I know what this is, but I need a reminder here. A neo-noir historical political thriller written and directed by, shout out, Kebler Mendonça Filho. It follows Armando, a former professor caught in political turmoil in the midst of a Brazilian military dictatorship, attempting to flee persecution and resist arrest. Is that what it's saying there? I don't know. Resist, attempting to flee persecution and resist an authoritarian regime. The supporting cast includes, I guess, a very selection of names that we're not as familiar with. So, a shout out, a Brazilian film, it looks like, if we're not getting that wrong. But yeah, also, I guess finally a different movie, getting some respect as well too in the mix here. Just, you need to know that they're doing their work a little bit as well. Best original song, K-pop Demon Hunter. It's like, it's, oh god, there's a different movie, but it's like, you didn't have to do a lot of work, I think, to run into K-pop Demon Hunter this year. It is what it is. Dear Me from Diane Warren, Relentless. Okay, there we go. There's some variety in this category. It looks like I Lied to You from Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Via Verdi, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. So I would imagine that this would actually be a battle between K-pop Demon Hunters and Sinners. It would be basically, I'm assuming that there would be some real charting, because, again, I think that this movie was everywhere, so we have to double check. Was Golden actually a top 40 hit this year? Was it Golden and Not Like Us and that Alex Warren song that were the biggest songs of, oh, hey, yo, now we're going to get, I guess, other results. It is what it is. Makes history with the Oscar nominations, snagged a couple. Okay, we could order takeout. That would be fun. But let's see here. We've got chart history. Maybe gold. No, golden. Maybe it's not worth the risk to try to find. Oh, geez, ayo, who knows what's happening? It is what it is. Okay, but regardless, I would imagine that might be the biggest contender for I Lied to You. Best documentary feature: The Alabama Solution, Come and See Me in a Good Light, Cutting Through the Rocks, Nobody Against Putin, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, The Perfect Neighbor. Okay, best documentary short film: All the Empty Rooms, Armed Only with the Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renaud, Children No More, Were and Are Gone, The Devil Is Busy, and Perfectly Strangers. So, very uplifting, it looks like, the documentary categories this year. I'm sure there's a lot of entertainment and, labs enjoy there. But best entertainment feature film, best entertainment, best international feature film. Okay, we got The Secret Agent from Brazil, It Was Just an Accident from France, Sentimental Value from Norway, Surat from Spain, and The Voice of Hind Rajab from Tunisia. So is this the most competitive international feature film has ever been? Again, just considering the way that these films have worked themselves into the other categories as well, too. Oh, that's right. We looked at that one already. The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value. Have we actually looked at this one to see what's going on? We did see what our guy Stellan Skarsgård is in this. It follows sisters and their reunion with their estranged father, Gustav. Stellan Skarsgård playing an estranged father. Oh, geez. I guess lock it in for an Academy Award. I guess, looks like he might have gotten nominated there. But is it going to be The Secret Agent? It got best casting, but I guess Sentimental Value does have the performances. And did they both have score nominations as well, too? Is that what's going to set it apart? None of them got song. Best supporting actor. Okay. Get nominations there. Wait, go back to score here. Can we find that? Best original score, Hymn to Battle After. Okay, nothing in score. So not a tiebreaker there. I guess we'll have to see, continuing on, what else would be a separating factor. But yeah, between those three, with the way that they've been heavily listed here, I don't know what would be what would be the favorite there to win. But best animated feature: Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Emil, or the character of Rain. In Zootopia too. So maybe Little Emil or the character of Rain is the obvious pick here as like the character study in the quality movie. And we were building up K-pop Demon Hunters, but Zootopia 2, of course, is now like one of the 10 most highest grossing movies of all time. Like one of the 10 most successful movies ever. And also referred to as Zootropolis 2, I think, in some other countries. So, I guess it just depends on what your preferred title for it is there. But maybe just the power of that movie has to be recognized. Maybe because I guess, like we're saying, K-pop Demon Hunter, it had to have passed K-pop Demon Hunter, as popular as it was. But that was also a Netflix thing, right? So that would be, we're looking for a link there, like it's going to pop up. That would also, not necessarily show up in that type of way. Let's see, K-pop. Oh no, Sony Pictures animated. But did it release only on Netflix? Okay, so you've got, again, sort of a word of mouth streaming success, #1 on the charts. Everybody loves it. it's definitely, or #1 on the Netflix charts. Again, everybody loves it. Or a movie like Zootopia that actually has that real box office number. And maybe, who knows? Maybe the battle of the animated film still shows the importance of the theater in terms of a little bit of cultural cachet as well too. Again, both films obviously have it, so it's not like K-pop Demon Hunter is lacking because it dropped on Netflix. Maybe that actually helped it in its case. Who's to say? But the fact that we had that actual number to look at for Zootopia and be like, oh man, this is real. This is actually, pause, bigger than even real, in life movies that we've made in the past as well too. So, again, maybe K-pop Demon Hunter would have been a $2 billion movie if it would have been dropped in theaters. Who knows? Budget $100 million plus? Hey, yo, is that just paying for music and things like that? Like, I literally have no idea what's going on with K-pop Demon Hunter. How crazy was the animation? They had to pay $100 million. That's That is wild. I guess maybe it's not crazy to think that that could actually have happened. But yeah, we'll see. Netflix versus Disney in the animated battles, I guess, this year for best animated feature between K-pop Demon Hunter or Zootopia. But Elio, is that Pixar? So is that Pixar getting some momentum again as well too? Let's see here. If I'm not mistaken, we need to check this one out for sure. What do we got? It follows an 11-year-old boy, Elio, who is mistaken for the intergalactic ambassador of Earth after being beamed up to the Cosmoverse by aliens and making contact. Okay, so an alien abduction Pixar movie. I'm surprised it's taken this long. I guess Monsters is that. So are they remaking Monsters? Is that what it is? Monsters Inc.? Who knows? But shout out if they obviously remade it at a high level because it did snag an Oscar nom. So best production design, lock it in. We know what the names are already. Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners. Best film editing. Oh, F1. Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Values, and Sinners. And F1, that is the perfect nomination for it because it is an incredibly edited movie. Just the strength of the opening couple of cuts alone is pretty impressive. I don't know, something about the water early on. I have to go back and pay attention, I guess, for the rest of the movie to figure out what's going on with the water. There's like these cut to these ocean waves in the first couple of scenes. Maybe it's just to set sort of the location early in the movie. It's like, hey, were they in like Daytona to start? It's like, hey, this is the beach on Daytona. But I was like, I think they're literally trying to like, brainwash. What's the term? When you like subconsciously edit the clips into the film to influence the people's decisions. I forget what that's called. But, they're like trying to make me love this movie by just putting these clips of water in the front. So, just look at these satisfying ocean waves. Then, you're just going to love this movie. It's beautiful. But there's just these ocean waves and then like this cut from this flashback footage of this race, and this car, of course, is about to crash into the side of the wall, and then right before it crashes, it cuts, and the guy's knocking on the door, and it's like, all lines up perfect. It's like, hey, we might actually be cooking with some heat here. But unfortunately, the movie's not able to live up to the hype of the first couple of cuts. It is what it is. But I love that we're actually seeing that recognized here. And, again, movies can obviously have these great features. That's what these categories are for, and not still maybe, that's what we're saying about the variety of movies, where maybe F1 doesn't have to just be like, okay, best picture, there you go, big movie, Brad Pitt, gotta love it, give it a best picture nomination. It's like, this is people paying attention. This movie is a great edited movie. I guess, even us to say, is it the best edited movie of the year? It is what it is. I would say, just to show our non-biased here, is the cutting in this movie better than the cutting in Sinners? It is close. It is close. As much as we love every technical aspect of Sinners, and to obviously these both we're talking about 99 overalls here. So it's like, is Sinners a 98 overall edited movie and F1's a 99 or a 97, 98? Who knows? But it could be like a 1 point, half a point advantage actually for F1. And maybe it is F1 actually the case that the rest of Sinners is so good. I don't know if the cutting was just bad, in theory, then not to say that it wouldn't matter, but you would still obviously be able to make up for it maybe with some strong performances, great music, rich story. But, F1, it's like, that's what the movie is. The movie's just a great cut movie. And, again, all the racing scenes and stuff like that, like, it is just hinged on how the movie is pieced together. Film knowledge here for the Remington Pod. But I think for the value of what the editing does for that movie, it definitely lands. So I would give it the win, honestly. Shout out to Stephen Mironi. He's the number one editor of the year. It is what it is. F1's a baller edited movie. But best sound, F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surratt. Okay, so another point for another international film. Again, we saw the performances, I guess, in the story go to some of the others, but maybe this one will get an edge in some of the technical categories as well. I guess, we didn't necessarily experience enough of these in theaters to really get a good sense of maybe what that would be, but yeah, we'd have to, I guess, see the poly market and see where the favorite would be trending there. Best visual effects. Oh, here's Avatar getting nominated. F1, I guess, best visual effects for F1. Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners again as well too. Sinners almost, the effects in Sinners are so good. The movie, feels pretty grounded, and it does. I'm trying to even think outside of, if you take away, the one sort of surreal scene, I'm trying to think of where like a heavily sort of CGI-y type moment would be. Again, obviously the costume and the world building and the setting and that, again, there is like a real texture to the movie where you imagine like Avatar, Fire and Ash. Like that's what I think, best visual effects. Like it's like, okay, that's all visual effects, Jurassic, like maybe that's where Jurassic World Rebirth is kind of is Jurassic World Rebirth going to win the Oscar for best visual effects? I don't know. Maybe The Lost Bus is the one that steps up and wins it here. But people had a good time at that movie. People had a good time in that movie. And I guess the hot take time, is that the first time, is it the best time that people have had in a Jurassic Park theater movie since the actual first Jurassic Park? I don't know. I'm trying to just go through the franchise in my mind, and you got it's just the original trilogy and then the Chris Pratt trilogy, or Chris Pratt 2. How many movies did Chris Pratt have? Hey, yo, for the Jurassic Park franchise. Let's see what we got here for movies in totals. American Adventure Film. Yeah, where's the franchise, though? Legacy. See also. List of movies featuring dinosaurs? I guess it would be probably a couple more movies than that. The Land Before Time? Yeah, what about The Land Before Time? So, wait, okay, yeah, Legacy, Impact, Reception. Oh, franchise, here we go. Franchise, what do we got? Jurassic Park franchise. Oh, and the video games as well. Is there television? Jurassic Park TV shows? How have I not looked into Jurassic Park TV shows? Lego animated projects. Oh, they're newer. Okay, so it looks like we're starting just this decade. 2020, and then one in 2024 as well, too. Future series, 2025. Okay, upcoming live action series from Jurassic Park. Yeah, that would be the last sort of frontier that they have crossed over into, would be the actual television show. But yeah, Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3, and then World, Fallen Kingdom, World Dominion, and then World Rebirth in 2025. So was World Dominion ScarJo, or was that Chris Pratt? It was Chris Pratt. Okay, yeah. So he had 3, and Jeff Goldblum's got 3, and then Pratt's got 3. Is that the way it's split up there? I don't know. But again, in the second one, I guess is pretty, like, obviously, the second and third ones are pretty charming now as time goes on as well too. And compared to, Fallen Kingdom and World Dominion and all some of these other ones, maybe they hold up a little bit better. I don't know. But listening to like the Ringerverse reaction to that one, hey, we're just throwing it on the pod. We haven't even seen the movie, but it's like, okay, we'll just listen to them react to it. It is what it is. And they're talking about how good of a time they had. And, again, some of it can be expectations for where the Jurassic Park franchise was in the past. But regardless, the movie did deliver a fun time in a way. And for it to maybe, again, big up the name of one of the franchises that still carries, again, the franchise obviously carries a lot of weight for what it has been. And that's to, just sit here and poo-poo the entire Jurassic Park franchise. But it might be pound for pound, again, movie quality to sort of box office ratio. We could sort of, I guess, analyze what those franchises would be. I'm just thinking this, like, off the top, though, like, again, clown it however you want. Make fun of it. Again, it has, not every movie has hit perfectly, but like the hit rate of the Fast and Furious franchise compared to the Jurassic Park franchise. Like, there's just more better Fast and Furious movies than there are Jurassic Park movies. The first Fast and Furious movie, the second Fast and Furious movie, the third Fast and the fourth. Actually, they're all perfect now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. The only one that's really not is 6, and it's obviously a little bit in between as well too. If you're just thinking about the overall narrative of the Fast and Furious franchise, you've got the sort of critical acclaim and the quality success of Fast Five. And Fast Five's that perfect intersection of we're getting ready to, of course, expand the franchise, but, we haven't gone too crazy with our ideas quite yet. We're still under control. So, again, it's just that perfect sort of intersection of everything. And then, of course, you get the emotional weight of what ends up becoming, I guess, the emotional weight of Fast 7. Of course, rest in peace to Paul Walker. And Fast 6 is still like an incredibly fun movie to go back and rewatch. It's just maybe, again, a little redundant for that sort of that trio there. And 8 as well, too. Again, like 8's good. Like 8 might actually, like, I don't know if I would sit here and give 8, immediately the pass over some of these. I'd have to go back and rewatch. I'd consider it. I'd at least throw Jurassic Park, we'll throw Jurassic Park 3 in the ring with, Fast 8. And I think it could at least compete a little bit. Again, it's not crazy. Fast 8's not like the most vaunted movie over here. But, still a good time. You get Lamborghinis on driving around on some ice and stuff. So, that's fun for sure. It's the visual set pieces and stuff are striking enough that do separate it from the rest of the Fast and Furious franchise. And if I can think of Fast 8 very distinctly from the rest of them. So that does mean something. But, so, just, I don't know if there's another, like the Jurassic Park franchise versus the Monsterverse, where it's like the Kong, Godzilla movies, like, that could be a battle to see. But, again, it's not like in terms of critical acclaim movie to movie, one of the great franchises. Not saying that this movie is getting like a ton of Oscar nominations, but Gareth Edwards, of course, was in the Star Wars universe as well too, bringing those, bringing some what do you call it, acclaim back to those movies as well. Was that Solo or Rogue One? Rogue One. So, and he directed The Creator as well too. Oh, and Godzilla. Now this guy's Gareth Edwards, chat. This guy's on a bit of a run here. Hey, is this back to back to back? I guess 16 to 23. So maybe he had a couple of projects in there. No. And Monsters in 2010. What's this here? Maybe he's 4 for his last 4. Godzilla, actually, we might need to check that one out as well too. 3 for his last 3. Okay, we'll give him that. Rogue One, The Creator, and Jurassic World Rebirth, because The Creator is, on a fast track to Tubi Classic. I think that, that's all compliments as well too. Maybe we say like, it's like HBO Classic. I don't know. What's a more prestigious, Pluto, the Pluto Classic. I'm not, but regardless, shout out Jurassic World Rebirth. It is what it is. So maybe best of visual effects. Like, here we go. Shout out for reviving the Jurassic World franchise as well too. Okay, I think if we give away 2 nominations, if we give away visual effects, and then what was the other one we gave away as well? Oh, best editing to F1. Then, again, Sinners 14 for 16. There we go. And it doesn't look rigged. It is what it is. Best cinematography, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams in there for cinematography. Best actor, here we go. Oh, and Hawk for Blue Moon, he did get nominated. DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Timothy Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Wagner Moroa for The Secret Agent. So, I guess that's obviously the main guy in that movie there, which when we looked that one up. And now that I'm thinking about this as well, too, I do think I remember hearing, I'm assuming if it was Sean Fennessy from The Big Picture, because can't imagine we listen to too many movie podcasts out there, but he was talking about, of course, the potential of Chalamet snagging a Best Actor. And, you're always going to be, I guess, competing against, to some degree, a top-notch field. But if Chalamet were to get the Best Actor win, if you're just looking at the names in this category and you're thinking Chalamet versus Leo as sort of a passing of the torch moment, like, that is a real thing. And I haven't seen One Battle After Another, like I'm saying. I think from the reviews of it, it seems like, I guess that people were saying like it might be Leo's best performance ever. So, I guess he's obviously pretty good in it. It is what it is. But in Chalamet, to his credit, he's won other, of course, Best Actor awards, but has he won actually at the Oscars themselves yet? I'm not sure. We can double check here and see what we've got going on. Performance and accolades, awards, and nominations for the Academy specifically. Oh, he's at 4 nominations so far. Oh, of course, Call Me by Your Name and A Complete Unknown. Yeah, okay. So I was gonna say, I thought he had gotten nominated for Bob Dylan, but I was like, wait, what's the overlap there with his projects in the timeline? So shout out his last 2 movies. Of course, he is starting to just be a locked in type of performer for what level he's going to be bringing, of course, to the projects at this point with these roles. And then of course, his third one, like we're saying, going back to 18 there with Call Me by Your Name as well. So if we were going for, I guess here, looking at last year to see again who he was competing against. Oh, because Brody won last year. I guess we're looking right at it there where it says that he was just nominated and not actually taking home the win. So you've got Sebastian Stan as well too. Ralph Fiennes, Coleman Domingo, and Adrian Brody. So Chalamet versus Brody, Domingo, Fiennes, and Stan. So it is obviously a loaded class. Sebastian Stan a little bit newer in terms of the value there. And Adrian Brody, Coleman Domingo, and Ralph Fiennes are like as good of actors as you can get in any year. Like you're not going to be, if again, a movie with those 3 guys is going to be as well of an acted movie if you cast any of these years in a movie together. But in terms of the star power, Michael B. Jordan, Ethan Hawke, and Leo DiCaprio as your contenders, like there is a little bit of a box office. I guess Ralph Fiennes is kind of a sneaky box office guy there. You got Harry Potter and the Kingsman franchises, so you got to give him his credit. I think maybe Harry Potter is a little bit of a different beast there as well too. But you got to have that type of film star power in the class. And if he gets the win, and he definitely did have the biggest, of course, persona, if that's the right way to phrase it, of any of these guys. And it does seem like what people are saying, that it plays in, of course, to his character in the movie. And I'm assuming that, again, his ability to capture all that stuff with the way that he's able to, of course, just bring the charisma into the press run. I'm assuming that is fun in the movie as well too. But I was literally looking at a picture of Michael B. Jordan on the red carpet, and it was 2 Michael B. Jordans, and one of them was in like a nice blue suit, kind of tailored, and everything like looked kind of fit and kind of slim, and the other one was more of a like a baggy kind of flowing type of fit, and it was like a leather get up and kind of a dark red, almost brownish type of leather. And I was looking at these 2 Michael B. Jordans standing next to each other, and I was like, man, he's able to have a couple good outfits here and look real nice. And then it took, this is photoshopped. There's not actually 2 Michael B. Jordans. He's just so good in that movie at playing both those characters that, again, somebody photoshopped this picture to be like smoke and stack maybe on the red carpet, together. And I'm just staring here looking at I'm just like looking at the outfits. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan, they got him styled looking good. It is what it is. But he is so convincing as 2 different people that, again, he is just, if you had him side by side in a picture, I would have forgotten that there's not actually 2 versions of Michael B. Jordan that don't exist. Like, actually, he doesn't have a brother that played in that movie. There's not like some cousin or, AI technology is not this good yet. We didn't clone him and now it's twins. It's like, no, Michael B. Jordan was, literally capturing 2 separate personalities in a completely unique way on screen there. And I guess, like we're saying, for the other performances as well too, we can't speak too much on those. And shout out Ethan Hawke as well too, actually like a best actor. Maybe what was the Reality Bites, maybe he got nominated for Reality Bites. I guess it says here he established himself as a leading man with Reality Bites. Gattaca, I was just talking with somebody today about Gattaca, talking about school movies. Hey, yo, Gattaca, shout out. But for an actual Best Actor nomination, I don't know if this is his first one, because I want to say that did he get Best Supporting for Training Day? Did he actually get nominated for that? I'm not sure. Screen Persona and Reception? Do we get an awards list on here? I don't know. Where is Ethan Hawke's awards at? Come on. He's got to have his own page for awards too, right? Somewhere on his resume here. I don't know. It shouldn't be this difficult to find Ethan Hawke's credits. List of awards and nominations by Ethan Hawke. Here we go. Academy total 66 wins for his entire career. Here we go. He's got Best Supporting for, Training Day, his first ever nomination. Okay, so Before Sunset. He didn't, I guess, get nominated in the 90s, but, finally got the Academy recognition with the Training Day nom. Then Before Sunset, Before Midnight, Best Adapted. Oh, so Best Adapted Screenplay. He didn't get an actor credit. A Best Adapted Screenplay. And then Best Supporting for Boyhood as well, too. So I think this does move him into a different category all time in a sense. And, sometimes, of course, you can sit here and look at the Oscars and be like, well, what does it really mean for a guy's like all-time resume? Like, hey, yo, if you like him as an actor, you like him as an actor. That's obviously important as well, too. But, I think for some stuff, it does matter. And just comparing the resumes, of course, it is fun. But for him to now, of course, get the recognition in both is, its own narrow list as well, too. But, again, he's a guy that I think was a little bit more, of course, and I think Training Day, again, he's so iconic as the number 2 playing off Denzel in that movie. It's almost like, again, like Scottie Pippen, where you just like, in the best way, where it's like Scottie Pippen, of course, is so good at being the number 2, next to Michael Jordan, having the defense and the sort of off the ball scoring that he was able to provide. And then, with it obviously all working together in that triangle system. Like, it's just like he's so iconic playing next to MJ that, it's difficult to kind of imagine him on his own. And he is so good in Training Day next to Denzel that's like he is kind of gets, I think, defined as a supporting guy in a sense. But he can absolutely carry a movie. And, he never did have, like, again, speaking of the franchise, I don't think he ever quite had the solo $150 million movie by himself that I'm thinking of. Here, let's go Ethan Hawke's, I guess, filmography and see. But as I was thinking about just guys that got nominated for Best Supporting and Best Actor, I don't know why the first name that jumped into my mind, and maybe this is something that I've heard subconsciously compared before, and I'm just, again, just bringing it up now. But the first name that I did think of was Brad Pitt. Like Ethan Hawke versus Brad Pitt as like an actor battle now. Again, if they've both gotten nominated for Best Actor and Best Supporting, it's like, okay, that recognition is there in some degree. And we can sit here and definitely compare filmographies as well, too. And again, Ethan Hawke's is super underrated just because some of the movies maybe haven't had the overall box office success. But I guess Before Sunset and Before Midnight are super successful movies. What do we got here with these? Oh, okay, we got two. I guess compared to obviously what it was, a $2 million budget for $15 million box office, but Before Midnight, what do we got here? $3 million budget, $23 million box office. So, again, they're making money. It is what it is. Small independent films. And then Boyhood, what do we got here? $4 million, $57 million in the box office. And again, Training Day is obviously that hit for sure. But yeah, $45 million budget, $104 in the box office. But again, it's a Denzel movie for sure. As who does this movie belong to? That's his team for sure. He is the best player there. But for all of his performances in general, you've got Dead Poets Society, of course, in the 90s, like we're saying, Reality Bites, Before Sunrise, Gattaca, blah, 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 Training Day, before, again, the Lord of War. I guess I don't know about that. I was like, wait a second, he was in the Lord of the Rings? What happened there? So maybe the run in like the 2000s, maybe there's a little what if with some of the choices that were made and some of the creators that he worked with. And then Before Midnight, Boyhood, that resurgence in the teens as well. The Magnificent Seven is in there. 24 Hours to Live, First Reformed, Blaze, Juliet Naked, Adopt a Highway, Zeros and Ones. They go, and then the Black Phone franchise. I get the Black Phone would be that franchise. So what was the box office on the Black Phone 2? I guess it wasn't 132. So this is like the Ethan Hawke late career resurgence that really he has needed to, again, solidify him as an all-time guy. Because if you do look at him, who is the NBA comp for Ethan Hawke? Like, it really is a guy that you're just like, man, he is as good as any actor that is ever, and I'm not trying to be over dramatic, but it is true. I think he is as good as any actor that has ever played. I don't know if he quite I guess his comedic chops are just different than a guy like Denzel. He's like, hey, be a little more subtle with maybe some of my jokes. Like, I'm not always trying to just like be outright comedy all the time. But like Denzel, I think can actually, like, if you needed to, you could just put Denzel like an Apatow movie, hey yo, or something super crazy. He's just gonna crush. It is what it is. He's gonna be funny in anything. But for what he is, for just his range and his gravitas, and again, I think his do I say like his athletic ability? Like, you could put him in an action movie and he could be running around in an action movie, or again, like, be the dramatic sort of lead, or be even a little like kind of innocent and maybe even a little weaker at times as well too. Like, that's obviously what the range of everything in Training Day, where it's like he's almost he's being pushed around by Denzel. But then if it's like Black Phone or something, again, later in his career, or if he had to be in a movie in '02 where it's him being, again, maybe a little bit more of the intimidator in that sense, he's obviously able to do that as well. I mean, we're gonna have love and be attached to anything and everyone involved in Training Day. I'm not saying Training Day is the only reason that we love Snoop and Dr. Dre as well too, but I'm just saying that they're in it. And Denzel, Ethan Hawke, Snoop Dogg, like, I'm just saying that they're there. So obviously, again, there's just that respect that we're gonna have. Shout out Ethan Hawke. He gave us our best movie of all time in Training Day, him and Denzel. So we got to sit here and support him. It is what it is. But I think that again, could Ethan Hawke have not been the guy in F1, and you would have said, well, is Ethan Hawke the movie star that Brad Pitt is? Like, is that a movie star role? Do you need a movie star in that role? It's like, well, okay, let's take that off the table. Like, if we're just talking about what can you do in the movie, like, Ethan Hawke can do anything that any of these guys can do. So shout out. Maybe Ethan Hawke is one of my favorite actors now, and I didn't even realize it. But shout out. Is it? Yeah, we could put him on the list with Gene Hackman and Pacino and Michael Douglas. Ethan Hawke is they got their lane of movies, obviously. Could Ethan Hawke have done any role that Al Pacino could have been in? That's too crazy to say, because Al Pacino's obviously, I mean, he's Shakespearean. Is Al Pacino the best actor that we've ever had? Could you make the case? Is it Paul Newman and Al Pacino, the 1-2 battle? I don't know what kind of list we're making over here, but that's a version of it. Hey, yo, imagine. I don't know if anybody would actually make I feel like we need to just make that list, because I don't know if anybody has actually made a list where they've had like Al Pacino as the best actor of all time. Like, that seems a little like having like Kareem maybe as like the best NBA player. Maybe De Niro is Kareem. Maybe De Niro's like got the amount of movies, like, the all-time leading score. It's like, oh, De Niro's been in so many good movies. Like, you gotta just give it to him at some point. It is what it is. But the guy or like Magic, Pacino's like Magic. It's like nobody actually debates that Magic's resume is better than MJ, but you maybe could, and it's close. But again, nobody actually like does it. It's like, and I guess there isn't like an MJ. I think well, there is. His name's Denzel. But in terms of in terms of the way the people see it, the conversation is had, there isn't obviously the sort of standout guy, I think, that there is. Even like, obviously like Meryl Streep, maybe for the, maybe has her case as well too in some other ways, to categorize it, that you could make arguments for her. But again, even obviously there's like spots in the NFL where it's like, best linebacker of all time. Maybe you don't have necessarily like a standout number one as well too. Obviously, we are getting to the point where it's like maybe we are starting to get more number one solidified pause guys as time goes on. You got number one quarterback in Brady. You got a number one receiver in Jerry Rice. You got a number one corner in Dion. You got a number one lineman in Lawrence Taylor. You've got a number one, I guess, defensive lineman in Lawrence Taylor. A number one offensive lineman in Trent Williams. Maybe that's a little bit more open for debate there. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, shout out to Ethan Hawke. I guess we could look this up here real quick. Best actor and supporting, Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor and Actor. Oh, wait a second. We can't spell. Let's see what we got here for this list. Oh, whoa. Okay, so Of course, we searched it and immediately dragged it off screen. It is what it is. Okay, we'll try this again and see what happens. Nominated for Best Actor and Supporting Actor. And we'll see if we can actually get an all-time list here. Has Delroy Lindo been nominated for Best Actor ever in his career? Or maybe not. But we've also, because, and I guess here, we'll see. I guess we could do some cross research here. I know we've looked this up in the past, but we didn't write it down. It is what it is. We should have been more on top of it, researched up, and then we wouldn't have to do this again. But pause. But Best Supporting, Kieran Culkin is the 2025 recipient. Multiple wins, I guess, and multiple nominations. So this isn't everybody, I guess, that has gotten list of actors with more than one Academy Award in acting categories, more nominations. Okay, this is getting a little too confusing. The following individuals received 2 or more Best Supporting Actor nominations. So, hey, Ethan Hawke, I guess he is in the 2 or more category there as well. Like Ben Kingsley probably has gotten nominated for both, but I don't know. Maybe Ethan Hawke, better actor than Ben Kingsley. We're calling him out. It is with Christian Bale. Like, could Ethan Hawke have been Batman? Hey, I'm Batman. Hey guys, don't hurt that lady. I'm Batman. I'll mess you up. Mahershala Ali. Hey yo, Ethan Hawke versus Mahershala Ali. That's a battle right there. That's a battle. Hey yo, could Ethan Hawke be in Blade? Could he? I'm not saying I didn't say could Ethan Hawke be Blade. I said could Ethan Hawke be in Blade. I mean, I'm not, you know. It is what it is. Obviously, you know, there is only one Blade. But if we had to remake the Blade movie with the one Blade, you know, shout out Wesley Snipes, could we cast Ethan Hawke in the movie? Could we recast him as something in the movie? I don't know. But yeah, Hackman, of course, you know, is one of the all-time both supporting and best actors. He is different though, because Hackman would never be like best supporting in like and maybe a little bit later in his career, but for the most part, he was never like the 4th or 5th guy in the movie. You could say like maybe an Enemy of the State because he's in the movie so much later that is the case. But a lot of times it is it's a dueling star type of movie. Even it's a movie. It's what's the movie like him and Morgan Freeman? Like a little later in his career. I forget what that one's called. Under Suspicion. Because I don't know, I said the first one we go to is Under Suspicion. But, it's, even if it's a movie like that, again, you sort of got like an equal billing 2-part star situation there. Obviously, him and, again, we're just going to go for the later movies. It is with, the Replacements, like him and Keanu. Just all of the times he's picking to work with these other, younger types of leading men. Then... again, he's like the number 2 guy, but it's not just like he's the supporting actor in the movie, per se. Where maybe Duvall could actually be like, would Robert Duvall be the number 2 guy in a movie the way that like we're saying Gene Hackman would? Maybe he's a little bit more scene to scene. But Nicholson 4 times is best supporting, and again, that's obviously maybe the later run. Was that like A Few Good Men, The Departed? Maybe is that 2 of them? But Ruffalo with 4 as well, too. Ruffalo is boarding. Ruffalo, here, let's see. Does Ruffalo have the Best Actor nomination as well? Let's see. Ruffalo, does he have a Tony? Ruffalo's a Tony? He's an EGOT winner? Mark Ruffalo, the EGOT winner. Shout out. But for Best Actors here, let's see what we got. We're going to have to do some research, chat. This is like if Josh Allen had won the Super Bowl. And then it's like, well, it's Josh Allen, like a top 5 quarter. It's like, now all of a sudden we get to, go all of it in. Hey, I'll pause. Of course, you didn't, rehash the Ethan Hawke legacy rankings. List and awards and nominations received by Mark Ruffalo. We should just copy and paste list and awards and nominations received by and just have it as the catchphrase today. So he's got The Kids Are All Right, 2010, Foxcatcher in 2014, Spotlight in 2015, and then Poor Things in 2023. So unfortunately, our guy's 0 for 4, but he's racking up the nominations. It is what it is. The Bills, chat, Buffalo Ruff. Oh, Chad, we got Mark Buffalo. Hey, yo. That's what we call him because he doesn't win. He doesn't win the Oscar. Hey, yo. He gets nominated. He does a great job. Great seasons. Great, 12 wins all the time. You can lock it in. Ruffalo's going to throw for 4,000 yards. But, yeah, I guess if he's got to play Aikman in the Cowboys defense, it is what it is. But, again, you can't say that he's, like, lost these performances. It's just there's maybe been something a little bit more, of like a superstar comedy type of moment as well too, where again, like we're saying for the Marty Supreme sort of ordeal of it, where it's like it just becomes this huge moment more so than it is like stand out immediately the best performance. So we might be watching Blue Moon now. It is what it is. But again, shout out Michael B. We hope Michael B actually wins, but I just love that Ethan Hawke actually got nominated as well too. So that's the perfect scenario. Ethan Hawke, you get the nomination, you get to move up into you just get to have that historical thing on your resume. I guess we hope he wins as well too. It's just become like the MVP situation where it's like, well, Michael B's gonna get he's gonna get nominated 6 more times. So you just give Ethan Hawke his win now. But we know, like the MVP, obviously, you just gotta, if the opportunity is there to vote for somebody, just vote for him. Don't overthink it. Don't be like, hey, I can vote for this guy, later. Hey, yo, you just got to vote right now. Hey, yo, if we've learned anything, it's you got to make the right vote in the moment. So if Michael B is the best performance in the moment, give it to Michael B. It is what it is. But Best Actress, Jessie Buckley, Hamnet, Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Kate Hudson, Song Sun Blue, Renette Rensvi, and Emma Stone, Begonia, as well too. So if anybody can we say unseats Emma Stone? That'd be insane. Again, I haven't seen the movies with these to know the performances, so I guess I can't really speak on this category too well. But just knowing the legacies, obviously, again, Rose Byrne, Kate Hudson, there's obviously some great actors in here as well. But with what Emma Stone has a chance to do now, would this be her 3rd or 4th win for Best Actress? And like we were saying Meryl Streep's name earlier. Ayo, and we had the list of page there, and we just didn't click on it. But we were saying Meryl Streep's name earlier, and ayo, of course she has a definite legacy advantage at this point with the career that she has been able to accumulate. But I mean, Emma Stone just keeps winning titles at this point. It is what it is. So we've got nominated, and again, already, support snagging for both, supporting and leading. But you've got La La Land, The Poor Things, and Begonia, so 3 nominations. And I guess she won for both La La Land and Poor Things. So she got nominated for The Favorite and Birdman in supporting, and she hasn't. So supporting is, I guess, the one where she hasn't won yet. But imagine if she goes 3 for 3. Like, that would probably, put her in that all-time category there. Not just, is she dominating the decade? But now she is, because, look at she would have more than Meryl Streep. Hey, yo. So Streep, I guess, not all-time. You've got her all-time with nominations at 17. McDormand, in the last couple of years, was able to storm out ahead. She got one in 17 and 20. And now she's at 3. So Frances McDormand and Emma Stone would be tied for 2nd place. And then Katharine Hepburn at 4. 4 wins, 12 nominations. 1933. And then the Renaissance chat in the 60s. 67 and 68. Back-to-back titles for Katharine Hepburn. And then one going away in 81 there. But, I mean, Emma Stone. I mean, the prime. I guess you would have to say this is the best actress prime that anybody has ever had from a critical standpoint. Is that too crazy to say? Because, again, just looking multiple nominations here. Sally Field, 79-84. Vivian Lee, 39-51. Like, there's kind of a difference there. Louise Rayner, back-to-back, 36-37. Hilary Swank, 99-04. And then, Hepburn was back-to-back, 67-68. Pause. Like we're saying, McDormand, late 20 teens. Frances McDormand, three billboards, maybe. And then Meryl Streep, we could just, I guess, look at in terms of the most consecutive nominations. So 2 wins is a little a little crazy. Is that like LeBron not winning an MVP like the last decade of his career? You're just like, hey, how do we go back and retroactively just like pretend that we gave him one of those? Just like, oh yeah, pause. You know, he got fourth or fifth MVP in there. It is what it is. Oh, Jane Fonda, 70s Fonda. How does 70s Fonda compare to 2020's Stone, or 80s 90s Foster? Jodie Foster, 88 and 91, getting a couple nominations there as well. I guess it says, oh, 2 wins. 2 wins, 3 nominations. Oh, wins. Okay, yeah. So Meryl Streep wins 82, 80. Yeah, okay, yeah. We're locked in. It is what it is. But in terms of, like we're saying, just the peak of the powers, this is a pretty insane run. And I guess in terms of people also emerging out of the MCU as well too. Hey, yo, Gwen Stacy. Who would have thought watching The Amazing Spider-Man that it's like that's going to be the best actress of all time? Hey, yo, shout out. But, you know, the resume is stacking up. It is what it is. And again, you know, not to, you know, hey, yo, we're trying to be as respectful as possible here on the Rem and Sam pod. But, you know, if there was an athlete thing here as well, too, what would you say? You'd be hit the, you know, just enter, you know, and we're not, what do we say? You know, the prime, hey, yo, pause. Like, you know, we're just trying to throw around vague, you know, types of comparisons over here. It is what it is. But just as, you know, like we're saying, she is sitting at, and I guess she would have to continue, you know, really stack on the nominations as well too. Pause. Like she really has obviously, you know, been able to be efficient in her winning as well. You know, 17 nominations is crazy. I don't know how many, you know, if LeBron had made the title every year, is that what it's, so if LeBron makes the title every year but only wins twice, and MJ, you know, goes 3 for 3 or 6 for, you know, what's the difference? I guess 6 for 6, you know, is different. If Frances McDormand was 6 for 6 for winning Best Actress, then, you know, it's like, okay, it is what it is. But, and, you know, there's obviously you know, a very, you know, common theme throughout a lot of these names as well too, that, you know, maybe as time goes, some of that changes as well. But there is, at this point, obviously everybody, you know, shout out, well deserving. Maybe, you know, who is what it is. But Emma Stone, shout out. You got to just give credit where credit is due as well there. But yeah, not surprising that, like we're saying, to see her name nominated, seeing the buzz there as well. Chloe Zhao, Best Director, Hamnet, Josh Safdie, Marty Supreme, PTA, one battle after another. Joachim Trier with Sentimental Value, and then Coogler with Sinners. So I don't know why. Well, I guess like we're saying, PTA this year as well too would be the other main contender. But shout out to Chloe Zhao, who of course won if I'm not mistaken, she won Best Director and then went to direct the Eternals. The Eternals tanked and then now is back with Hamlet. I guess, is that the order? Is the Eternals just gonna be like this random movie in there that's just like, okay, you know, breaking the cycle, breaking the streak of Best Director type movies? Let's see what we got here. Filmmaking style, filmography. Oh, Nomadland. That's what it was. It was Nomadland. What movie did I say? I guess I forgot. But yeah, Nomadland, The Eternals, The Graduates in 2023. I guess is a full-length feature that she directed as well too. Oh wait, edited. Oh no. Oh, produced. You just produced? Executive produced. Okay, and then got the executive producer on Hamnet as well too. Obviously, producer credits on a lot of these, but yeah, obviously, shout out. Been meaning to revisit the Eternals. I haven't watched it since it dropped, but I feel like I've been like, you know, that movie's not too bad. I've been replaying it in my mind, and it's been replaying well. So we might need to actually replay it on the big screen and see how it holds up there. But yeah, good to see that, you know, hey, yo, the Academy was not too thrown off by the Eternals. Hamnet was good enough. It's like, yeah, shout out, you know, back in the mix. It is what it is. I guess the Academy is not going to hold the Marvel successes against, or failures against, anybody. I guess, you know, what do we got? Wakanda Forever and what do we just, the Eternals being represented in the Oscar nomination. Shout out. You love to see it. We've got, like we said, though, you know, PTA as well, too. Just being, I guess, maybe the Polymarket favorite as time goes. But hey, yo, F1 did get nominated for Best Picture. Shout out. So literally everybody that I think got nominated for an award got nominated for Best Picture. Again, I think it's just it's the collection of movies. There's no thinking outside the box. There's no reaching, I guess, into, you know, extra like parts of, you know, what do we say it now? The extra parts of cinema is crazy. That doesn't even really mean anything in an awards conversation. What are the extra parts of cinema to reach into, you ask? I don't know. But it's just funny that, you know, again, there is the 10, and again, it makes sense. Like, these movies are going to have the best parts of movies in them throughout the course of the year, but it's like, okay, you know, the leading scorer in the NBA doesn't have to, the guy that's number 1 in points doesn't have to be from the best team or have to win the MVP. You know, it correlates that way sometimes, but it doesn't always, you know, it's not always a 1-for-1 representation of everything, you know, down the list as well too. So it's like, you know, but Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental, Sinners, and Train Dreams is the list for Best Picture Costume Design. I guess Avatar is the one movie that they're like, sorry, we'll give you a couple technical nominations, but we just can't do it. We just can't find another spot. It is what it is. But yeah, pause. We got Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners as the other nominations as well too. That's hilarious. Shout out to James Cameron, chat, for, you know, at least getting you know, some recognition there as well. But oh, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. The song Blue. Shout out. We're just, you know, forgetting the people that did get the recognition from the other movies. So maybe that's just, you know, again, shows you the power of these performances. Like Rose Byrne, so undeniable. And If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. That, you know, she just has to be nominated. But that's how you know. That's how you know that's real there as well too. It's not just like, well, you know, again, F1's cool. Well, it was on Apple TV and it was a big movie, so we got it nominated a couple times. Or Frankenstein as well too. There's some variety, I guess, in the animated feature category as well, in the animated feature. But for the most part, if that is if that is obviously the representation of movies for the year, and just again in terms of those big names, Sinners, One Battle After Another, F1, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, you know, I think that's probably your first team of movies. Is that 5? What do we had? We said Sinners, One Battle, F1 is probably your top 3 there, and then Marty Supreme and Hamnet as your other 2, because it seems like a lot of just, again, great pieces that came together to form Hamnet, and then just the power of the star-making performance of Marty Supreme, and then I think Safdie crafting a great film as well too. So that probably would be your top 5, and then that would leave Begonia, Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Train Dreams as your second team, which, you know, I guess it's just us being an American film fan, so we're just like, get the international films a second team. It is what it is, which means, you know, Sentimental Value is probably going to win as well too. But hey, yo, if you have if your movie is the best, it has the most best pieces, like if it's nominated the most times, then that has to mean that, you know, they're obviously going to make it the best movie, because the math would math there. That makes sense. Oh, Super Bowl champions. We don't want to look at the Polymarket. We don't want to spoil anything. Hey, yo. Let's see what we got here. Oscars. Okay. We need to find that. Oh, wait. Is that guy doing that free climb right now on Netflix? Hey, yo, I forgot about that. I'm almost too nervous to go even see what's going on. I feel like if we tune in, we're going to jinx it. So maybe we just tune out. It is what it is. Oh, yeah. One battle left. Honestly, though, 70-20 means there's hope. It means there's hope. Stellan Skarsgård as well, too. I'm not saying that we don't want Sean Penn to win, but maybe we're a little more pro Stellan Skarsgård in 2026 than we are, you know, Sean Penn, if those are the two options. The fact that Delroy Lindo is last is crazy. That just shows you that Polymarket, they just want to vote for Jacob Elordi at this point. You know, again, with all due respect to Elordi, it's not to say that Elordi didn't have a great season, but it would just be like saying, you know, who's having a great year this year? Again, I don't want to call anybody out that's having a great year. It's like, you know, is Brunson, you know, again, once the playoffs happen, it's like, you know, is this guy's season going to be better than this guy's season? But it's like, you know, is Brunson's season better than Jokic's season? I guess those are the Those are two best actors, not necessarily best supporting actors. Now we have to find supporting actors to make the case. I guess Jaylen Brown's not even supporting this year as well too. He's a main guy. But just because a guy is having a better season doesn't mean a guy is also having a bad season as well. The other guy's having a bad season. Jacob Elordi doesn't have a bad performance because Lindo has a great performance. It just means hey, Lindo is not the 5th guy on this list here. It is what it is. But shout out to Skarsgård as well too. That'd be fun. And I guess I don't know if he's actually won a Best Actor. Has a Skarsgård ever won an Oscar? I'm assuming they have, but if that's the first Skarsgård Oscar, well deserved. They just need like an honorary Oscar as well too. Hey yo, chat. I don't know why our mouse. If you just tune in and our mouse is hovering over the center, we're like, no, we have to vote no. Hey yo, it is what it is. But we got Chalamet 75-15 right now for Best Actor. K-pop Demon Hunter 87, and yeah, PTA 88-8. For Best Director is the farthest, has the biggest odds right now. Pause. Oh, Best Actress, Jessie Buckley, actually. 89 to Rose Byrne's 8 as well, too. Emma Stone, 1%. Okay, so it doesn't look like Emma Stone's going to win. Jessie Buckley, looks like she's got that locked. So Meryl Streep better take Jessie Buckley out to dinner. Hey, yo, because she, Emma Stone would be, I guess, in a different tier if Jessie Buckley doesn't win this one, or take the Academy that's going to vote for Jessie Buckley out for dinner. I don't know there, but Best Sound. Okay, F1's going to get Best Sound, I guess. Sinners, Best Sound, Surratt. Okay, one battle after another, finally losing a category. Best Film Editing. Oh, F1 is second. Okay, let's go F1 for Best Film Editing. This is our hot take of the year. F1's the best edited film. It is what it is. But Best Original Screenplay, shout out, it has to be Sinners. Again, it has to be Sinners, just because it's also, like, again, it's actually, like, the most original as well, too. It's like a guy sat down and just thought of a movie. It's not like, like, it's like, hey, here's this guy with the ping pong paddle that we could make a story about, or I guess, what did we say? Sentimental value was just it's just a life story that they're telling. It's a biopic. So, and I mean, again, in some ways, Sinners is obviously a representation of life at a time. But in terms of the plot points of the story, again, they're just stuff that Coogler thought of as well, too. So it's like, that's actually what originality is. So I think that it makes sense that you just, Best Original Screenplay, perfect. It qualifies, shout out. But how many Oscars will Sentimental win? 0, 1, 2, so 2 for Sentimental Value, I guess. How many Oscars will Hamnet win? I guess here, what did we say for Best Picture? Did we look at that? Yeah, one battle after another. So 70-20, it means there's hope. And I guess it will really be between those two as well, too. It doesn't look like, according to the Poly Market, it doesn't look like we'll get the sleeper, Secret Agent Marty. Again, Marty Supreme as a movie. Hamnet, listening to the industry right now, it would probably be Hamnet. Or maybe it would be the Secret Agent. I don't know. Do we just make a full court shot bet and just say if it's not Sinners, the Secret Agent will be our emotional hedge. We'll make some money if they just want to randomly give it to the Secret Agent. Or Train Dreams? Yeah, because it's not going to be Train Dreams. The Secret Agent. Let's see. And the winner is the Secret Agent. Let's see. How would it go? The winner is one battle after another. No, actually, Secret Agent, you've won. There's been a mistake. It's Secret Agent. Hey, if Sinners wins off a mistake again, then we know the Oscars. I mean, yeah, that would confirm the Oscars are racist, yeah, after all these years. But it'd just be like, okay, Moonlight's going to win in this nerfed moment where it's supposed, La La Land's up on stage. It's like, now all of a sudden PTA's up on stage receiving the award. They're like, oh, no, actually, we forgot. It's Coogler. Oh, no, commercial break. Let's go. It is what it is. But, I guess, winning, obviously, in that way wouldn't be better. It's still better than not winning, but it's be like, hey, where's the properly deserved moment and the recognition for these things as well too, yeah. So shout out for obviously the historic achievements there by the Sinners movie, and we want to we're supposed to watch this Kobe game, but we haven't even looked at Sinners in the grand scape of movies yet, because I think that again, obviously, it'd be really interesting to compare it to the other heavily nominated movies like that. So maybe that's a part 2. I don't know. We'll go to break and flip a coin and see, chat. Stay tuned. When we come back, it'll be either part 2 of the Oscars breakdown or Kobe's 81-point game relived here tonight again 20 years later. I mean, oh, come on. We might, maybe we'll do the Sinner's GOAT case on Sunday during playoff games, and then we'll watch because the Kobe anniversary is now as well too. This is awards season, so we can dissect the stuff during the awards season, and then we'll run through, see what the nominations are, kind of get a overview of everything, and then maybe compare. Maybe we'll do some research in the next couple of days, build a case, really come to the defense of the movie from an all-time standpoint. But so there we go. We don't even need to flip a coin. It is what it is. We're back, chat. We've got Kobe's 81-point game relived here tonight. In memoriam, shout out. 20 years later, one of the great scoring performances in NBA history, and we will go back and check it out. And unlike Wilt, we actually have footage. So the most points ever captured in an NBA game, 81 by Kobe, live after this. Okay, chat, we are back, and it is 20 years since, like we were saying, of course, the great Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, had one of the greatest scoring performances in NBA history. I mean, could you argue it's the greatest? Of course, you hit the triple digits. Shout out to Wilt. It's difficult to beat. Just pause from a face value standpoint, but you think the modern NBA? I guess Kobe did have the 3-point line. Hey, 81 with a 3-point line versus 100 versus some dentists. Like, what is the exact correlation? Points per, I guess height of the person guarding you, the advantage there. If if Kobe's playing against people that can guard him, but he has a 3-point line, and nobody, like, so if I guess the question becomes, could you score more points, against if you're like a varsity player playing against JV, or if you were like a JV player playing against middle schoolers? Like, what's the degrees of separation to which, I guess the level of dominance would be fair. And then, or if you're an NBA player playing with college people, but you get a 3-point line, or you're an NBA player playing with high school. Yeah, I don't know what the correlate. It doesn't matter. The point is, Kobe went crazy, and obviously this is that interesting time period for Kobe's career where, and obviously it obviously does peak in this game. Pause, with the fact that he is, the real focal point of the offense, and there is the times that, the narratives of when did that get him in trouble in terms of his responsibility in playoff series, and then when he would, emotionally kind of remove himself from the team in a different type of way, from the way they were competing on the court. Like, of course, what would that do to their advantage in the playoff series? And, we could rehash a lot of that different stuff and what that means for the case. But in terms of, again, him as an offensive threat and what this means for just the greatest scoring performances of all time, like, not a hot take, but still, I think kind of slightly forgotten if you look back. Actually, a good game from Kobe. Like, again, there's that time period where it's like, oh, is this Kobe being a ball hog? Hey, yo. But it's actually, this was just Kobe just went crazy this night. And this just shows you, again, sort of the level to which Kobe can go crazy. Not the need, not that he needed 81. I mean, if his career high was 63, hey, yo, it's still a great career. But for here we go. 22nd January, 81 points against the Raptors. 122 to 104 was the final score. And look at the box score. 28 for 46. Hey, yo, Kobe, he took 46 shots. He made 60% of his shots. It's literally his best game in 2 weeks. Hey, yo, he took 30 shots against Philly and, scored was at 65% in that game. He was 7 for 13 from the 3-point line as well, too. Hey, yo, Kobe, obviously a different time period, not a 40% 3-point shooter, maybe on the box score, every year. Yeah, this year, 34.7% on the season. But again, this is actually just really, really good numbers and a really, really good performance. Any sort of 54 or, 60, I guess, 60, 50, 80 game that a guy would put up, pause. It's just well, what happened if, instead of Donovan Mitchell taking 28 field goals in this game, what happened if he took 50? It's well, could he score 80? And the question, the answer with Kobe is obviously yes. And it does say something again, Kobe for the career. We know that Kobe, you could argue, is the literally the only thing that doesn't that hurts Kobe's case for being the best offensive player of all time. I guess not the only thing, because obviously now, with Jokic and some of these other unicorn-like presences, there are different cases in terms of the matchup types that you can, how much can you dominate a matchup over the course of a given game. And we do have the full game replay on. I will mention we won't watch it minute for minute. We will probably skip through some free throws, and depending on, I guess, obviously some commercials or how they have the replay here set up, we'll skip through some of the dead time just to make good time on the replay. And to be honest, this is not actually a full game that I've ever sat down and looked at. either. I mean, you've obviously seen I guess if you're an NBA fan, you probably stumbled onto highlights of Kobe's 81-point game at some point. But, our guy Jalen Rose as well, too. Shout out, Fab Five, one of the greatest players in Michigan basketball history, is unfortunately, on the other team in this game and maybe guarding Kobe Bryant. Like, I think the thing we could go back and look at, and again, it's like the storyline's like, Jalen Rose gave up 81 points. It's like, I think unfortunately Jalen Rose was just on the court on the wrong night. Kobe was just going crazy that night. It is what it is. But regardless, it's still not necessarily the performance we'd want to go back and see the Michigan legend have. It is what it is. And I guess it's not like, Jalen Rose, it's like, Jalen Rose, like, sneaky had, like, 42 in that game. And then, just outdueled by Kobe. It's like, 81 and just, like, way outdid everybody. It is what it is. You have Mike James for the Raptors in this one with 26. Yeah, Jalen Rose, not to call him out. It is what it is. We don't need to relive the memories. But Chris Bosh, we've got, early Chris Bosh before he leaves, of course, for the Heatles. We've got him posted up here. Baseline going back into the middle. Throwing it back out to the wing. A little, vision in the training of the where to throw passes. Because that is something that, of course, now that you get with the modern NBA, and I'm sure was still very prevalent back then, but throwing to a spot on the court where you're just like, well, we know that somebody who's probably going to be in the corner there when we rotate, or somebody's probably going to, if I drive here and whatever, somebody's probably going to be on the wing here. And if I just kind of throw it to a spot, like there might be, there might be somebody there. Like, I don't know if Chris Bosh is necessarily like a, like a high level vision type of passer guy. But if there was those opportunities out of those post ups where, get just constant spacing and perimeter play around him, that would have been crazy as well too, to see him as the lead guy. And you do have Odom on this team as well too for the Lakers. Unfortunately, I guess not a great game for, anybody else in this game besides Kobe. Again, not to say that they would have, would somebody else have caught rhythm in this game eventually? Who's to say? Who's to say? Is that how anti-Kobe do you have to be for him to score 81 on a great performance and they win the game? And you have to be like, well, he froze out the rest of his teammates. But again, you see, it's like Lamar Odom 1 for 7, Kwame Brown 1 for 5, Chris Mim, 5 for 8 was the other kind of decent performance. But your bench that year, Devion George 0 for 4, Luke Walton 0 for 1. 14 minutes, not even there to, even take a shot. You've got Sasha Vujacic, 1 for 5. Brian Cook, 1 for 1 in 7 minutes played. Then Devin Green checks in for 4 seconds. So literally nobody else is going to be showing up offensively for the team that night. Kobe's just like, well, I guess, if nobody else is going to score, if it's that perfect storm of literally nobody else can hit a bucket and I'm going to shoot 60% from the field, I'm probably going to keep taking points. And again, the season's been going at this point for a while as well, too. I don't know what the sort of build-up is for the storyline, for what, like, relationships would be for him and his team as well, too. And, not to relitigate how this season may have ended for this team, but here we can double-check what the playoffs would have been. If this would have been the year that they would have, played Phoenix in the playoffs and maybe lost in 7 there, I'm not sure. But if we can somehow, if the computer somehow can go back, pause. Okay, we'll see. Give it a second. It'll get there. It is what it is. I think we might have overshot it. We'll dial it in. Game logs. Okay, we'll just have to go back to the game. It is what it is. Find it again here. 122, 104. We are back. So, oh geez, where do we go? Kobe 81, shout out. I don't remember what we're looking for at this point. It is what it is. Oh, we're looking for their playoff success for the season. Yeah, they did lose in Phoenix. They did lose versus Phoenix to 7 in this series. So, again, overall, maybe a little bit of unfortunate narratives on how some of the stuff played out on the season. And again, how does that play into a performance like this where he is having these types of, dynamics with the team? But regardless, for it to maximize in this type of night, like it doesn't matter. If your teammates are, a combined 12% from the field and you're on fire, why wouldn't that work? If this was happening in OKC and Shea did this, you'd be like, okay, well, it would make sense. Like, why wouldn't you have that happen? If Chet was just 1 for 7 from some night and Jalen Williams is like, well, I can't make anything and I'm in foul trouble and I'm gonna be on the bench, and it's like, well, they have no answer for Shea, and Shea's getting to the foul line and maybe he's canning some threes as well too. It's just like, well, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And he's our best player, so that makes total sense. But Charlie Villanueva, unfortunately, was giving him problems in this game here. I don't know what his total ended up being. Spoiler alert, I guess. 13 in the game, but he was cooking in the first quarter here. Getting to the basket. Kwame, stay in front of Charlie Villanueva. Is that same draft class there? Kwame Brown and Charlie Villanueva? Hey, yo. But yeah, feeding Chris Bosh early. I mean, the post-up play is beautiful, Chad. I want to rewind and just watch it again. Hey, yo. Remember when people used to play like that in the NBA? I mean, even a move that simple, I feel like that type of drop step to the baseline, Durant, there's some guys that can still obviously manage that. Hey, yo, chat. And by the way, this guy in this Blazers, okay, we got to pause this Kobe game for a second. With all, rest in peace, Kobe, shout out. But the guy at this Blazers halftime, who are the Blazers? Oh, Blazers Raptors. This is a Blazers Raptors halftime. He's got 5-6 skateboards stacked up on top of each other. Oh, speaking of that guy trying to climb up the building, this is even more risky. He's got 6 skateboards stacked up on top of each other, and he's got them balanced on a little like Chet. He's got him on some kind of foam roller. Hey, yo, what a move. 6 skateboards stacked on top of a foam roller, balancing act. Incredibly done, on top of some kind of large stool situation where he's like, a good 6 feet up in the air. So, a tumble's a tumble if he falls. Shout out, we're locked in. We may have to Google, what's that guy's name as well too? Alex Holland after this as well, because I almost wanted to tune in to see, like, what's the catch? Like, this guy is like, the confidence. The confidence to scale a skyscraper on live TV with no ropes. I mean, it's just to say, like, is there a net underneath? Like, what's going on? Like, we might have to, I guess we're not going to turn off the Kobe game. Hey, yo, it is what it is. So after this guy goes for this last skateboard trick, we're gonna go see what's going on with that climber there. But yeah, that Bosch little turnaround jumper, shout out. I mean, stuff of beauty. Hey, yo, Miami, they should have gone to him more, Chad. They should have obviously not have had LeBron James scoring as many points. They should have given the ball to Chris Bosh. That's the difficult part with the argument there. Is it's not like they were necessarily, and maybe they, we go back and double check. It's not like they were freezing out Chris Bosh, or it's not like they were freezing out Chris Bosh, no. But it's not like Chris Bosh sacrificed so Mario Chalmers could score 23 points a game. You have LeBron and Wade dominating the offense, and maybe sometimes 3 guys can't score 25 points a game. Somebody's going to be at like 18. And if you can find your way to make up other stats or just really capitalize on efficiency, that's going to look a certain way as well too. And you can get hot in certain moments. Like, again, to bring Jalen Williams' name back up, that's a guy that can be, here's a guy that can score 18 points a game in the regular season, but then he can score 40 in a finals game if you need him to and give you that major type performance. And Ayo, it's not like we have to relitigate the Chris Bosh run because, again, they won 2 titles, so that worked out just fine. But there is a version of the offense that, and Ayo, Spoelstra overrated as a coach. He couldn't figure out how to work in Chris Bosh, but it would have been interesting to see Spoelstra now as a coach coaching that team where maybe he is a little more equipped to get guys, get everybody in the system in that type of way versus back then. Maybe it was more managing personalities. It's like, well, I guess if LeBron and Wade are going to be these overwhelming characters, then, it is what it is. And, shout out, he's the only coach to coach with LeBron and still be the one that's left in the team. And, he's still on the team now as well, too. Like, it's been the best. It wasn't probably it's the right move. Again, I guess what does that mean? That if it was the right move to go for Spoelstra instead of LeBron, but it wasn't the wrong move. And I think that's the point. It's a little like the Hakeem Jordan situation where you're just like, well, I guess the Rockets could have had Jordan, but you're not bummed out, obviously, that you had Hakeem back in the day. So, hey, I'm on Netflix. I'm seeing what's going on here. Oh, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Okay. I guess either way, I can get them to remind me. Am I locked in for this? I'll at least look at my phone and see what's going on. And let me just double check. Do we have to throw the trailer on? I'm just keeping an eye on the trailer. Is there any gimmicks? Zero room. I can't believe it's like Netflix what happens if something goes like, does Netflix just cut the feed? Like, is a 5-second delay really enough? Like, what happens? Because we all know what happens if something happens. Like, that's the thing. Like, you can show what you want to show, but we're gonna know what we know. So I guess I don't know if that makes sense. But there's like a documentary. It's like a daughter chat. Hey, yo, it's like a wife and daughter standing by. I mean, this could I guess what am I sitting here being a downer for? We've got a chance for a guy to do something really incredible in front of a nation, really, capitalize on a moment and really, continue to use his talents for, just to push, I guess, obviously the skill level forward. But hey, it just seems like the fact obviously it's the fact that it's live, and that's the whole point of the live. But this might be too much. Netflix acquiring the Warner's Brothers library was like, oh no, they're ruining cinema. But this is like, I guess, what's the difference between a guy, what's the difference between this and boxing? Am I right? Hey, yo, now we're getting, chat, IT, I guess I didn't realize they slid the soapbox under our feet over here. But, what's the difference between Alex Holland risking his life for a skyscraper climb in the NFL? So, hey, at the end of the day, it's all a risk, and you know what you're doing, right? So if it's on live TV, I guess that's just the element for us. It is what it is. But so shout out, I guess now we're locked in. It's basically just like watching an NFL game, but or an NBA game, though. Shout out. It's why the NBA is the best sport, right? Because for the most part, fortunately, there is that safety element to it. It's just purely fun. It's purely a fun game. It is what it is. It can be anyways. It can be purely fun. If you're scoring 80, if you ever play a game where you get 46 field goal attempts, it can be fun. But sometimes maybe it goes the other way. But the Raptors with the 5-point lead early in the game, the energy there. And of course, like we're saying, Chris Bosh, Jalen Rose, Charlie Villanueva, Mike James, and Morris Peterson. Oh, Matt Bonner was in the starting lineup. But Charlie Villanueva getting some minutes there with those guys. Jose Calderon off the bench. Pape Sao with 10 minutes. Eric Williams, 8 minutes. And Joey Graham with 14 minutes. Just kind of in there to run around, I guess, because he's not getting much on the box score back then. 1 for 2, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 2 fouls. And a turnover in 14 minutes for our guy Joey Graham. But shout out to Spurs legend Matt Bonner. Of course, literally legendary. Like, almost, I want to say, like a banner level, and again, I say this respectfully, but I almost want to say a banner level bench player in San Antonio. Decade-long run, a couple of titles. Again, just a real stalwart community guy. The Red Rocket. Hey, I was going to say the Red Mamba. I was going to say the Red Rifle, but I think that's Andy Dalton. But Matt Bonner is, again, a legendary San Antonio guy, but a couple of years starting in Toronto there. And I guess actually playing minutes as well, too. But, of course, I mean, Matt Bonner today would obviously be a really interesting guy. Some of these three-pointer guys back then, like Steve Novak's another one. I guess, at some point you just become such a good three-pointer that you're going to be able to survive in any era. Like Steve Novak literally survived in his era, so why would he be worse in this era? But it's like, okay, would he be way better? Like, would Steve Novak be on first-team All-NBA if he played now? Or would he still be like, maybe an all-star if he got really hot one year? I don't know. But Kobe, I mean, oh, Chad, early on. And I guess it's maybe even later in the game as well, too, because he's bricking a couple shots here in the first quarter. Do we go first quarter breakdown? 5 for 10. Okay, so I guess that was just a bad couple of shots. It is what it is. Maybe kind of a pretty even distribution throughout the game. But the Raptors were playing good on defense. The energy is there. They're turning offense into defensive points with the transition bucket. And they've got an 8-point lead as the first quarter winds down in the replay of this. And they literally the Lakers just swing the ball to Kobe and just stand around. Like, maybe they know the drill, but hey, yo, it's kind of giving Kobe just, save this team. So, again, I'm sure Kobe in his own way, maybe that's the part that's never discussed. Maybe Kobe in his own, not to say that anybody has a right to sort of, leave their team at a competitive disadvantage at the end of the season, I guess depending on what that means. But, if you're your best player, you obviously hope you're committed to the team for the entire season. And if there's games in the playoffs, game 7, obviously you're going to be hoping that, other games that your guys are locked in and ready to go and committed to the team. But for this type of performance as well, too, around him, again, throughout the course of the regular season, just a difficult dynamic to have to navigate. Oh, chat, and speaking of being on the Netflix as well, too, we've got the Bond franchise back. Hey, yo, I was just thinking, speaking of our guy, I guess Hans Zimmer doesn't score Skyfall, so wait a second. Give me a second. Not him. But speaking of scores, speaking of movies, we were, speaking of movies, pivot, we were thinking about watching those Skyfall the other day, but it was not streaming anywhere, so we were like, bummer. It is what it is. We're like, are we going to have to get the DVD? Is this the moment where we have to get the DVD? I don't know. But I guess, Netflix once again killed the DVD industry because now they've got Skyfall, and we don't need to get that. But I guess since Alex Holland is not climbing the skyscraper, we'll go back to Blazers Raptors. We'll go back to watching Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp, hey, our guy Shannon Sharp. Who are we watching? Is Shannon Sharp doing a watch along? I'm not sure, but our guy Shaden Sharp, shout out. We'll see him play in this one. Though sometimes unfortunately, Shaden Sharp's field goal percentage looks like it might, if Shannon Sharp were to play, I don't know, could do a little bit better from the 3-point line. It is what it is. But they're only down by 7 against make it 9 against the Raptors. It is what it is. Caleb Love, 2 assists in the game. If Caleb Love's your assist leader on the night for the Blazers, that's probably not a great sign. But Shaden Sharp with 15, speaking of. So shout out. Can he keep pace? Hey, yo, chat. A double Raptors game. Pause. It is what it is. Speaking of Jurassic World Rebirth, we've got the 2006 Raptors and we've got the 2026 Raptors. It is what. So I guess right now they're winning both games. We'll see what happens. It's third quarter in the modern game. It's end of the first quarter in the Kobe game. And I guess spoiler alert for how that one's going. If Donovan Clingan was this, I guess he's not on the Raptors, but if Donovan Clingan was the center in that game, would he have given up 81 to Kobe? Could anybody score 81 with the talent in the modern NBA today? I guess I would say probably. It's interesting that maybe nobody has gotten to 80 again as well too, because these days, obviously the ability to get like that 40 to 50 range, it seems like we have guys hit that a lot more often now, or we did anyways at the start of the season, of course, have a crazy flurry of some really high level scoring performances. But nobody, I guess, has seen, and again, the super high levels are the untouchable sort of achievements for a reason. But nobody has gotten to the 80-point range. Again, he is the only other player to, get that many. We have, of course, had multiple 70s. I think Shea did Shea end up getting to a 70 officially? And then Devin Booker, of course, got to 70 a couple years ago. Donovan Mitchell got to 70 a couple years ago. As the other names that Trae Young, I don't think, has gotten to 70. Hey, yo. Maybe 70 field goal attempts in a game. Got him, chat. 70 turnovers? It is what it is. But the Wizards, Trae Young. Washington Wizards, Trae Young. But for the 80-point club, it is just him and then Wilt with the 100-point game. So I guess they don't have per single game leaders here. on this page that we're looking at. Oh, games? Here we go. Oh, finals. That's finals games. Here we go. Let's just go NBA points in a game record and see if we can get an actual list here of guys. Because, like we said, we know the names. I guess we just don't know the order. And we're going to be missing a couple throughout history there as well, too. But record for points in a game. Wilt, Kobe. Wilt again. Oh, Doncic with 73 with Dallas. David Thompson with 73. Yeah, see, that's one I would not have remembered. But, or not have remembered. We're not necessarily around in 78 to remember it. But that's not one I would have thought of. Is David Thompson in 78. But shout out. That's pretty clutch as well, too. Wilt Chamberlain, I guess, 5 times with 70 or more. Dame Lillard, 71 in Portland. Mitchell was 71. Robinson was 71. David Robinson. Elgin Baylor. Joel Embiid, of course, 70. Devin Booker, 70. Wilt again. Oh, Wilt 6 times. 70 or more. Ayo. And then Jordan, his career high, 69. Ayo. Maybe he did that on purpose. It is what it is. He's like, I don't need 70. I'd rather just have it be 69 than cross over into the 70-point threshold. So Kobe's career high, 12 points higher than MJ's. You know, what does that mean? Again, is that extra 3-point percentage, extra 3-point line in that game? You know, if Kobe had Scottie Pippen in this game right here, would he have scored 81? Would he have scored 65 points and then had Scottie Pippen score, a couple more again? Ayo. I don't know. But again, the actual fact that he is, I think, the number one guy outside of Kobe or outside of MJ and outside of Wilt to have the scoring performance like that. Again, I think the only thing that does keep Kobe from being the number one offensive player of all time is the fact that his game is similar to a guy that was before him. And it is not, again, a game that is, you don't want to say not unique in a way, but does have, again, another player that does play a similar style and does just have a little bit of a different resume and how that style turned out. And there's some defensive stuff, maybe just a little bit higher level of a defender as well, too. Though, again, the MJ, Kobe two-way stuff is, obviously highest level for both those guys. Kobe was a great defender. But, and, again, Doncic as well, too, being there at 73 for points. Like, Doncic, you could make an argument if we were just going based on the all-round talent and the capabilities of an offensive player. Again, the only guys that are missing from this list, I guess, are, I guess the big three of the 2010s would be the Durant, Curry, LeBron combo. Those guys maybe not getting into the 60-point range. Giannis was 64. I guess LeBron did. Yeah, LeBron did get 61. I was going to say he did have a 60-point game in there. Was it not against Charlotte? The Miami days, of course. Yeah, 2014. So that would have been against Charlotte. 61 there. I guess Steph, what do we got? Steph at 62. So Steph's career high, 1 point higher than LeBron James. Maybe he capped it at 62 higher there on purpose. And then Durant would be. So Durant needs a 60-point game, I guess, is the takeaway to match both of those guys. I mean, again, his shot making is obviously there with both of them. But yeah, he's never crossed over into the 60-point performance. Never more than 59. Hey, yo, what's Kevin Durant's career high? Interesting trivia question. Throw it on the Buffalo Wild Wings TV. Hey, yo, if you're listening, if somebody at B-Dubs is listening to this, throw this on the TV. Has Kevin Durant ever scored 60 points in a game? But I don't know. You read that, maybe you'd be like, I don't know. He is more of an efficient scorer than he is like a high volume scorer. So I guess, thinking about it that way, that does make a little bit of sense for sure. So the game highs will probably not load for a second. It is what it is. We'll just have to wait and see here. Okay, we got advanced shooting. Play-by-play. We're getting closer. Game highs, 55. 55 is Durant's highest total in Brooklyn. So in Golden State, he had a 50. In Golden State, 18-19, he had a 50. In Brooklyn, he had a 55. And then his highest this year is 39. 43 last year, 45, 45. He had 54 in 13, 14, 52 and 12, 51 and 11, 40s throughout the course of his career early on. 42, 47, 45, 47. So a little like Shea, honestly, because Shea's kind of like that, where it's like, hey, you know, Shea hasn't quite had like the, you know, the highest high-level scoring performance to start his career in a couple of those seasons, but is obviously, you know, continuing to add the historic achievements there. But, and, you know, again, there is a passing playmaking element, obviously, to Kobe's game overall that guys like Luka, guys like Jokic and LeBron would maybe have that quote-unquote all-round type of offensive game that you would classify there. But at the end of the day, what are you trying to pass? You're trying to pass to a guy so he can score. So, hey, yo, Kobe, he just eliminates the need to pass. He just scores himself. It is what it is. So as long as he is playing efficient, like in this game where he can shoot 60% from the field, you know, it works to great success. It is, and you know, maybe we're talking about the actual. I guess maybe the best way to phrase it is, of course, would be the best bucket getter in NBA history. You know, again, we're talking about points scored as well too, not points generated. See, I guess that would be an interesting thing. What would be the most points generated in a game? Because I would imagine that it would still be probably Wilt in this 100-point game. You know, did he assist on the other? Did he like assist on 114 of the 120 points? You know, has anybody generated more than like 120 points in a game? I don't know. Let's see if we can we get the box score here for this game pulled up probably in a second once it stops spazzing out, and if we can click the right links and get it loaded. The old Warriors logo looking interesting, chat. Hey, yo, I don't really know what is going on here. What type of Warrior do we got going on there? A little sketchy, I'm not sure. But he had 2 assists in that game. Oh, Guy Rogers had 20 assists just throwing it to Wilt the entire time. Hey, yo. So, you know, he generated 104 points. I guess they didn't have a 3-point line. So, yeah, 104 points in this game. Guy Rogers maybe generated like, you know, 51 points in this one with the assists added on. Not quite as many. And nobody talks about Richie Guerin's 39, Willie Knowles 31, or Cleveland Buckner's 33. Hey, yo, same type of ordeal. You know, he's like, hey, I need to take every shot, and I'm on fire. And in this one, you know, Wilt hit his free throws as well too. So he had 28 of 32 from the free throw line. Like that type of calls, getting those type of calls is pretty crazy. And again, with the field goal attempts, Kobe didn't have like a ton. I guess he had 20 free throws in this game, but still, like you could like Shea will be at like, you know, I guess he'll be like 12, maybe, you know, 12, 13 at times. He's not like 16 to 18 consistently. But that's not, if a guy was 18 for 20 in a game today and he scored 40, you know, obviously that'd be a little bit more reasonable, and still a very realistic thing to see in a box score. So it was obviously, again, the heat check of the day and the level up of the performance, not just the opportunity of the performance. Because I'm saying, I think that's the part that gets misconstrued with this season and with this game. And not to say that, you know, again, a game at this high level really gets misconstrued in any ways, but just that vibe that hangs over this as, you know, he was, like we're saying, taken away from what's going on from everything. Not necessarily the fact that they needed it. There's the heat check. You know, it was actually just a good game. That was the highest level of a heat check performance that we've ever gotten since, you know, again, the 1960s. But again, you know, again, regardless, it is what it is. That's why the YouTubes, you know, you got to go back and fire up the games and rewatch and see what's going on. Hey, yo, Derek Fisher, it is what it is. You know, he can step up and hit a bucket every now and then. Unfortunately for, you know, unfortunately for us Spurs fans, it is what it is. I don't even know if that was Derek Fisher. I was just thinking about that play earlier today, and that was the type of swish that Derek Fisher would have in a game. I don't even think it was. Who's Calderon playing for? in this game? Is it the Raptors? He might have had a Lakers run at some point. But yeah, I think in this game he's on the Raptors. So that wasn't him on that shot. Is this Vujicic hitting the three? We have to go back and do a roster check. We already forgot who's on this other Lakers team. We just remember, honestly, Kwame Brown's, unfortunately, his other famous teammate from this time. It is what it is. And again, that's for different reasons. More so than Kwame Brown being the number 2 star. I guess Lamar Odom as well, too. And now, Luke Walton. I guess, you know Luke Walton as well. Shout out. Some names, some star-level names. But, at any point, Kobe and Lamar Odom, I guess that's still, you're not in a bad spot. You're like, we got a first-team All-NBA guy, and we got maybe a second or a third-team All-NBA guy. So there is, the building blocks there for that successful franchise. And still 40-some wins, still able to be in the playoffs, built around a couple of these players. But, again, obviously the top-end talent is a little bit different. And you see a team like the Raptors, who we can actually, I guess, see what their success was on the season. Because it is close for, again, overall rosters here, who is better. And they are 27 and 55. I guess just because Chris Bosh is younger as well, too. And he was 50% from the field, 22 a game. He's cooking, chat. Morris Peterson. Hey, yo. I guess these guys just didn't play well the rest of the season. It is what it is. Oh, just because Jalen Rose was moving into a different phase of his career. So if you, and obviously probably in theory of why you have him there, but if you have a peak Jalen Rose on this team with Chris Bosh, that is a pretty deadly duo. Because again, Mike James at 20 a game this year. Like, shout out 30-year-old Mike James, 47% from the field, 20 a game, 6 assists. Like Charlie Villanueva. Charlie Villanueva was second in Rookie of the Year voting. Hey, yo. He almost won Rookie of the Year. Him and, let's say Steve Nash. Steve Nash, MVP. Chris Paul. It was Chris Paul and Charlie Villanueva, then Andrew Bogut, then Raymond Felton, then Shane Frye, then Darren Williams. The whole Darren Williams-Chris Paul debate. I mean, Charlie Villanueva was way better as a rookie than Darren Williams. Hey, yo. Our guy Luther Head. Hey, yo, Luther Head getting some votes in here. But, yeah, shout out Villanueva. 13 points a game, 6 rebounds, some decent scoring numbers, efficiency in there. So, again, the names on the team, the best version of these guys, I guess, there would have been good. Unfortunately, just didn't get to line up in the season. But, yeah, if you had Jalen Rose, high 40% field goal, yeah, like this 97-98 season, 47% from the field. Oh, I guess he's only 7 attempts a game that year. Yeah, here we go. 99-2000, 47.1% from the field. 18 a game. He's 13th in MVP voting. He goes 18 a game, 20 a game, 20 a game, 22 a game in Chicago. And then in Toronto, yeah, 18. So the season before that, he was still really, really productive for this roster. I guess let's see what their record was, because this would have been an even younger Chris Bosh as well, too. 33 and 49 for this team. But Rafer Alston, Jalen Rose, Morris Peterson, Vince Carter, 13th in MVP voting. He played 20 games for this team, was 40% for the field. So, again, similar situation of the percentages not being great. And then I'm assuming he leaves at some point. Yeah, he goes to New Jersey in the middle of this season and then explodes in New Jersey at 24 a game after that. So not to relitigate that with Raptors fans, it is what it is. And I guess that would make a little bit of sense in some of the timeline stuff here for what was going on with the franchise. If you trade a player under the circumstances like that and sort of have the return and everything that gets involved there. And again, you have a guy that can be an MVP, All-NBA level candidate in a guy like Jalen Rose, and his stats start to go back in a certain direction. And that's the unfortunate stuff with sometimes with building these teams is, as the season's playing out, we don't necessarily know what, we'd have to go back and see what their cap flexibility was. Were they running into the second apron back then? I don't know if that was an issue, but for sometimes in the seasons, you don't realize that, like, looking back again, it's clear. It's like, oh, yeah, this is the season where things started to turn for Jalen Rose. But it's like, maybe in the moment, you're like, maybe it's not this year. Maybe the last 20 games, it won't be this season. Maybe the last 40 games, it won't be this season. Maybe it'll turn around at some point, and we can still get 1 or 2 more years out of him as a player. However you want to look at it. Like, sometimes you just are too late, and, that's obviously the smart thing about team building is being proactive and being light years ahead. But sometimes, even if you're just a split second too late into reacting into what your team is, you could lose out on windows for some of these guys and miss out on certain years. And, again, if they were able to get the right alignment, I guess, of some of these guys, it would have been great. But and if they also just had Vince Carter, that would have been nice as well, too. Vince Carter, again, a alternate timeline where you've got Chris Bosh starting to form into his own right as a player. You have Jalen Rose, who could hover in those third-team All-NBA ranges. And you have Vince Carter as well, too. Like, you kind of have you could have 3 top 20-ish guys in the league. Like, I guess we're saying if you're hovering in third-team All-NBA, regardless of the depth of the talent in the league, you're going to be a top 20 guy in that case. So if you had 3 top 20 guys, is there a case where the Raptors are, like, winning the Eastern Conference in 05-06? Because, could we have rewritten the entire history of the Eastern Conference, because that you would have had the different dynamics of LeBron and the Cavs in the playoffs there. Of course, the Pistons are very competitive in the East at this time, starting to, this might be the last season or one of in this 05-06 season. But then, of course, with Bosh leaving this team and going to Miami, and then what that did for LeBron's career and the power of the East there, what do those dynamics become if this team is successful to some degree and able to stick together? Who knows? So that's a fun, of course, what-if roster if things do work out. But, again, unfortunately, they got cooked by Kobe. It is what it is. And maybe got cooked by a couple other teams over the course of the season, but he definitely, obviously, really exposed them compared to some of the other guys. But they were still up 11 at this time. 4 minutes left in the second half. So things still, looking favorable toward the Raptors. Kobe still leading the way. 14 in the first quarter. Again, that you're in for something special, but that still is pacing you out for, you're still going to score 60 in that game. You put up 15 a quarter. It seems light for Kobe sometimes. Just in theory, you're like, oh yeah, Kobe can get to 15 a quarter, but that still puts you, like we're saying, at 60 points. So he hasn't even had that turn the corner to the next level of historic play yet. And yeah, only 12 points in this second quarter here. So I don't know if we spoiled third quarter, fourth quarter, but the second half is, of course, the major. Yeah, third quarter, 11 for 15, 27 points in the third quarter, and then 28 in the fourth. So 12 for 13 from the free throw line, 7 for 13 from the field. So it really was him just being like, well, I guess I've made everything in the third quarter. I have to keep shooting in the fourth quarter. And Lamar Odom was 1 for 1. George was 0 for 1. And Vujicic was 0 for 2. So a combined 1 for 4 from those guys, from his teammates in the quarter, helping him out there. But yeah, so the second half is about to go crazy. Because again, just feeling like the pace of the attacking in the way just the vibe of the, just kind of watching lightly the replay in this first half here. It is still in the realm of a normal performance, quote unquote, the normal, like, high level performance we would get these days. Like we're saying, that 40, 50 point game still goes crazy. Maybe third quarter is not as like is he going to score 15 points again or whatever? But like we're saying, the nearly, I guess, 27, 28, what was he at for the second half alone here? If we add it up, 41 in the second half alone for the Raptors. So wait, did Kobe outscored the Raptors quite handily in the second half. 55 points in the second half for Kobe Bryant. Hey, yo, how many 50-point halves have we had an NBA history as well too? That part might be crazier. I mean, I guess a 40-point halves? How many 40-point halves have we had in NBA history? Again, if you think 80-point game, it's not too difficult to think, well, I guess you just, pretty evenly divide that up into two 40-point halves. And it's not so far off of that, but still, to put up 55 and a half is a completely different level. So let's see here what we got. Player game finder for the NBA. I'm pretty sure we can sort this way. Let's see. Oh, wait a second. We're just getting rated results here for nothing. No stats. Show us every game in NBA history. Hopefully this doesn't take us too long to load. Hey, yo. We ran quite the wide search there. It is what it is. Let's see. Opponents, game result, game location. No. Oh, now we're Paul Dano chat. No. Let's see here. We can't have half by half. Game result, game location, game month, overtime. Yes or no? I guess not. Maybe player half. It is what it is. Yeah, we ruined it, chat. It's gonna take too long to load. We have to go back. It is what it is. Pause. Hey, yo. We just searched through every game ever, so that kind of... Oh, player quarter finder. Hey, yo, I'm slacking. Pause. I forgot about the quarter finder. Let's see what we've got here. If we can... Hey, maybe we can do some math. We can combine the quarters and make a half. Yeah, here we go. Halves. Let's see. First half, second half. Either one. Doesn't matter. We're just looking for 50-point halves in NBA history. I can't think of witnessing one in my life, and I'm going to say that there is probably going to be like two. So, but just to double check, we can keep filtering until we find the right number. And I don't know how many years we're going to have access to here as well. But for comparing this heat check Kobe performance to some other ones, we've got Kobe and Devin Booker in that 70-point game as well, too. I guess had 51 in the loss to Boston. He was 14 for 16 in that half. Kobe 18 for 28. So 2 50-point halves in the amount of time that we have here to search. So they only go back to 96, 97 for the quarter finder here. So, shout out. Like we're saying, even that David Thompson 73-point game, all the Wilt games and stuff that would get left off of the potential 50-point half conversation here. I guess we could go back and look at that one specifically. But Brandon Jennings against Golden State with 45. Karl Towns against Charlotte with 44 and a half. We had Giannis against Indiana with 43. Kobe against Washington, 42. Donovan Mitchell, 42. Michael Redd with 42. Against Utah, Doncic, Kyrie, and Dame, all with 40+. I guess we got LaMelo, Kobe again, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, Darren Williams, all with 40+. So LaMelo Ball, 40+ points and a half. I mean, that means something here. And then we got him and Michael Redd as kind of the standout heat check guys. Like, kind of, hey, I didn't expect to see their name there. Maybe Karl Towns as well, too. Brandon Jennings, did have some iconic heat check performances. Shout out early on in his career. Didn't he score like 50 points in his first game ever? So, not so shocked. It's like, oh, yeah, maybe he would have randomly showed up if he filtered into the right season. But Darren Williams as well, too. Obviously, major bucket getter. Jimmy Butler. So, yeah, LaMelo, maybe still proves his historic value there. Somebody trade for LaMelo, but also shout out to the great Michael Redd as well, too. It takes a lot for us to potentially root for an OSU player, but Michael Redd was pretty undeniable. You got to give him his credit where credit is due. So, career 20-point a game scorer. Shout out, 47% from the field, 38% from three. Like, is he a career, you don't want to say 50, 40, 90 guy, but is he a career 48, 30, 39 type of guy in the league these days? I think he could potentially have had, a boost in efficiency if he was able to play in the modern spacing. And you see the 3-point percentage at 38%, even with some extreme or lower seasons in there, where you've got like a 30, a 23, 31, not really making much as well too as a rookie. But yeah, first half about to end here, and it was 63-49 for the Raptors over the Lakers. So they did have a pretty sizable lead. Again, they were going to need the actual Kobe performance to be able to pull this one out. He had good reason to be able to perform well in the second half too. Like, they needed him, like we're saying, because they were down in the score. But he had proof of concept. He had a first half to say that, hey, I kind of did a lot, and we were still short. So I'm going to have to do, like, everything in this game and just completely take over. Nobody else worry about it. I've got it from here. So the range, like we're saying, still kind of manageable. But, yeah, the extra level here is crazy. So we hate to skip through, the historic performance. It is what it is. But, sorry, Kobe. Rest in peace. But for the second half, I'm sure, is he going to have 35 different moves? He honestly might. It's Kobe. He's pretty creative. Every shot is a butterfly, a beautiful butterfly, unique in its own right. I don't know. But turnover early on as well, too. So they're going to need every possession. And I guess we didn't even check turnovers. Kobe, somehow even a clean game there. Only 2 turnovers for our guy Kobe. Somehow still more turnovers than assists. Hilarious. He had 1 assist and 2 turnovers. Oh, that's for the second half. Okay. Let's see. For the game, maybe he was able to change that. He was... Okay, 2 assists. Oh, nope. 2 assists, 3 turnovers for the game. 6 rebounds, getting a steal. So, some other stat sheet qualifications in there as well. But, yeah, the Raptors kind of go cold as well, too, on their own right. A little bit of a forced shot early on. Kobe, hey, he did pass. He is trying to get guys involved early. Shout out. So, a quick baseline drive. He did draw the foul. He did try to, drop it off to the big man for the little 2-point shot. But, yeah, they're just basically forcing his hand at this point to make baskets. The star player comparison, they're like, well, Odom has 0 points at this point in the game. He's 0 for 4. We know going forward he's going to go 1 for 3. And they're not even in Toronto as well, too. I'm sure LA's got its own, unique set of circumstances you're going to have to navigate to be in the right mindset before the game. But Toronto can be a city that, is maybe plentiful with distractions for pre-game stuff, post-game opportunities. But I guess maybe post-game distractions is not the worst thing in the world. But, in terms of obviously setting yourself up for success going into a game, they're not even in the potential city where that could be a problem with, again, maybe the newness factor. I don't know, your hometown, your home situation. Maybe you can work around that a little bit better. But the Raptors with Bonner get the score early. 14-point lead. Kobe up fake baseline, just over 2. Oh, chat, you can see the swish to that degree. Like, you pull up that confidently, 2 defenders, just a high-arcing mid-range shot, just drop it right in. Like, that's how you know, oh, the guy's going to go crazy. Oh, and Kobe getting a little crossed up as well, too, on the other side. We'll erase the footage. He's getting excited. He's closing out. It's like LeBron in the finals, closing out a little bit too aggressively on Durant. All of a sudden, you're sliding around. Hey, what's this wet spot on the court? Pause. Now, that's not a crossover. That's just a technical error, malfunction. Something happened there. But now they're they're running a play. It's part of the offense. Odom drives. Odom with just a pass out. Nothing going. They can't even, Kwame Brown, the mid-range right off the front of the basket. Kobe didn't even touch the basketball that possession. So again, a little bit of an issue that the minute the teammates get the basketball and start swinging it around, it becomes, let's not throw it back to Kobe. And what was Kobe's minutes played in this game as well too? He was 51 minutes and 41 minutes and 56 seconds in this game. But he was, for the second half here, I guess, did he take a break in the second half? He took a 4-second break in the second half. Lamar Odom played the entire second half, 24 minutes. Shout out. But yeah, Kobe, I guess maybe at the end of the quarter they have to sub him out for like a foul trouble situation or something. I don't know. But he will be, again, not necessarily having the moments where the teammates are like, well, I guess now it's our time to run the offense. It's going to be that, I guess, constant dynamic to see how the structure works there. But Brown, the rebound, Odom, he's like, yeah, it's just Kobe. It's fine now. At this point, we all get it. Kobe's on fire. And boom, like we said, he's about to go 11 for 15. So, I mean, this is going to be generational type stuff here in the corner. The pull-up for three in transition, he's already at 35, 8 minutes into the third. So I don't even know, watching today, I don't even know what I would be thinking in the moment with him at 35 at this checkpoint. Great response by the Raptors, by Bosch in the mid-range. And they are still up by, a good amount as well, too. So you don't even know. I mean, Kobe already has 35 and the Raptors are winning. So you would think, oh, that three would be like, oh, man, this is really going crazy. But that three, again, cuts it to 12. Cuts it to 12 with 7 minutes left. So you're still thinking that if he's going to play this well, there's no way that the Raptors can't win this game. Like there's no way that Kobe can keep up this level of scoring for the rest of the game. And it doesn't even matter. He can't close up 12 points by himself when he's already put up nearly 40 points in the game. And I guess, yeah, Jalen Rose, you could probably be a little bit more, maybe at some point deny Kobe the basketball when he's got, nearly 40 points halfway through the game. But in transition now, Odom, is that his one field goal? No, it's not. Odom can't even get the transition layup to go. Odom, I can't even believe they didn't sub him out. That just shows you how, what the Lakers were working with in 05-06, with all due respect. It's just in theory. In theory, you have a player that literally can't make a basket. Like, you probably could try something at some point, and they didn't even attempt to take that's the thing. They didn't even attempt to take Lamar Odom out of the game. It's not like, well, we tried other things, and we might as well still close with what is our best guy and our best personnel. They're just like, no, well, Odom, he can't make a basket, but Odom, who can't make a basket, is still better than anybody else that we have on this team. They did have a young Andrew Bynum, though, so that's actually just Phil Jackson probably not evaluating his team right, or Bynum not being ready as well, too. Did he make the jump straight from high school? So it might have taken him a season to adjust. I don't know exactly. Maybe he was hurt. We could double check here and see. 05-06 would have been really early on. Yeah, 46 games played as a rookie, 1.6 points a game, 7 minutes a game, and I guess just, not really impacting the playoffs. Didn't make an all-star until a couple of years later, 11-12, but could have potentially been an impact. I don't know, his pick and roll, it would have been a weird maybe spacing with Kobe in this game. I don't know, but, again, just his effort and rebounding and energy could have been useful. His defense in this game a little bit as well, too, could have been useful. It's not like you needed him to make buckets because, like we're saying, Kobe takes care of everything. But you've got Chris Bosh now, the little mid-range, not able to get it to go. Oh! And the fact that he's even, resorting to the three in this type of way, the deficit almost pushed him into, like, modern analytical basketball, and he didn't even realize it. Like, if this was, them up by however much, maybe he's being more methodical and getting to the basket, that post-up stuff that we love to see him do, or that baseline driving that he was attempting earlier as well. But, again, they're losing this game by double digits, nearly 20 points at one point. So he's like, I got to bring this team back. I got to do something. And he is, you know, having to fire up threes, but now all of a sudden you're like 12, 15 quick points. It's actually working in their favor. So Bosch draws the foul. Hey, yo, Luke Walton helping out the Raptors there. Hasn't been investigated yet, but I don't know. We'll see what happens as time goes on. We've got Rose now denying. Oh, the defense is ramped up. I guess that's not Rose on defense, but the defense regardless is to the pressure where he's fouled like 20 feet from the basket in the corner and just hits the fadeaway right over the top of him. The little pull-up jumper, pump fake, gets him going. Oh, chat. Hey, yo. See, there's a subtlety to that pump fake. I mean, Shea obviously can capture that at times, but the abuse of it, and Kobe would still like want to either get the, you know, he's not like I'm only pump faking to foul. He's like, hey, I might try to get the foul, but then I'm going to try to go up and get the basket as well too. And Shea can still definitely try to finish through the contact. Oh, speaking of, you know, there's the finishing through the contact for Kobe there. Pause. Oh, did they get him with the offensive foul? That time they got him with the charge, I guess. A little too much. Pause. It is what it is. But there is obviously those times when Shea and, you know, anybody in the league, but just to use him as an example of the lead foul, you know, candidate type guys, there are those times where they can be more concerned with the foul and getting to the free throw line and like, hey, if I do this move, I should get the call, so I'll kind of tap out on the play because I think I should get the call. And now all of a sudden, you know, you're not really as committed to the actual basketball stuff of it as, you know, like you should be. And obviously getting the foul line is part of it, but it's like maybe at the entirety of it, maybe you should be focused on trying to make the shot if that's the point of, you know, getting a shot up. I don't know. But, I mean, Kobe only had one free throw in this third quarter as well, too. It's just all purely him making baskets, you know. He's just cannon jumpers from the outside. So, like, it would have been that one, like we're saying, pump fake from that baseline that was able to generate the extra buckets that way. Lamar Odom, free throws, how many did he have in the game? 5 for 6 in the quarter, so that was the only thing keeping him alive, obviously, for the game in total. And 8 points in total. So, yeah, 5 for 6 was all that he had in the game as well. 0 free throws, 0 field goals in the fourth. Oh, no. I mean, that's your second best player in the game. And he literally, you know, unfortunately for that night, you know, couldn't get anything to go. It is what it is. Bosch behind the back. Oh, Bosch taking it the length of the court. The unicorn. And again, imagine if they would have actually had let him be able to create more on offense as well too. You know, your center power forward guy. I guess Odom at this time, like Odom is kind of starting to, you know, shift whatever. I guess is Lamar Odom shifting the perspective of the league. But you know, the league's perspective is starting to shift as guys like Lamar Odom enter the league. Maybe that's, I don't know if that's the more professional way to phrase it, but regardless, he is going to be an earlier guy for our generation that you look at and think of the kind of stretch four type of guys who could be a three, who could be a power forward, who was creating and perimeter playmaking with the ball handling capabilities, like we're saying, at that position. Or a guy like Rashard Lewis as well too, just being like that stretch four, 3-point corner shooter. The jab step, oh, Chad, it's just a classic Kobe bag in this one. You've got that easy jab step on the right wing. That, I guess not easy, but like that light sort of rock you to sleep jab step, pull it back, bang. 3-pointer. Timeout. Kobe straight to the bench. Locked in. What's there to be happy about, chat? You know, unfinished business, pause down 5 as they close the lead. But you can see the momentum has started to shift. Obviously, you know, at this point, he's got 50 in the game. So you know that he is clearly, you know, the game is already special at this point. Oh, chat. We just pulled the mic out of the mic stand. But you got 3 guys at this point in the league scoring 30 a game. Kobe, Iverson, LeBron. Gilbert Arenas 4th in the league in scoring at this time. And then Wade was 5th. So shout out Gil, chat. Hey, yo. Clown them all you want. You know, obviously the pod, you know, are we going to compare here the success of the pod versus the NBA career? I don't know. You know, again, he was still on all NBAs and stuff at the NBA career, but that's a pretty arousing endorsement of the skill level as well too. You've got, for your leading scorers, Kobe, Iverson, LeBron, and Wade, but then also, you know, Gilbert Arenas as well. So I know he would say that he's not an also in that group, but just for respecting, since the other guys were on 75, you know, maybe it's you know, just to categorize it in a certain way. But you know, now we've done the opposite. Pause. Now we've unscrewed the bolt too far out of the mic stand, and it's now pause. Come out. It is what it is. So let's see here if we can fix it. Sorry, Kobe. We'll be back. Lamar Odom's at the free throw line, so we can hopefully get this back and fixed while he gets these free throws to go. Okay, there we are. We should be locked in and ready to go. Hopefully literally locked in. And the microphone doesn't get pulled out again. Hey, yo, pull out game strong, chat? But actually, no, because you need the microphone clip. You need the microphone to stay. It is what it is. But, Raptors up 3 with 4:17 left in the third in the rerun. Hey, yo, don't get confused. Like we said, Raptors, Blazers, we haven't forgot about Shaedon Sharpe. Speaking of, is he inspired, chat? Inspired, I think, in a lot of ways, but I don't know if he'll hit the 81 tonight, but the little pump fake there, the up and under, he's not doing too bad. We do a little Shaedon Sharpe box score at some point in this game. Oh, chat, the fade. Oh, the air ball. Hey, yo, shout out to the cleanup crew there. It is what it is. I mean, you know, you go 11 for 15. It doesn't matter what your couple other misses are. Who cares? You hit 11 out of your 15 shots. It is what it is. But, yeah, that time the momentum is continued by some of the other bench players. So, again, you know, not a lot going on from the supporting cast, but at least a timely play there. And they've gone strictly to, like, Kobe and supporting cast at this point. It's probably the George, Vujicic. It's probably the George. That might have been the 4 seconds that Devin Green checked in, actually. Did they sub him out? I don't even know who we just saw. It is what it is. But, yeah, this might be like a Smush Parker, Devon George, Brian Cook, Kobe type of lineup. Chris Mim, I don't know what we got going here. But either way, it's going to get swung back to Kobe. We've got tough defense this time, kind of denying him the drive and the offensive foul on Odom. Did Odom travel that time there? So good defense by the Raptors. Again, this fourth quarter is just more like a mental victory, I guess, by the Lakers as well. Because, yeah, it is. I guess they dominate them for points in this third quarter. You know, 42-22. But at least they're still, with 3 minutes left at this point, they're still, you know, 3 points up. So you still can, you know, spot yourself a little bit of a lead, go toe-to-toe, be like, okay, you know, again, we're in a game now, but if we lock back in, we can still win this. But then Kobe just continuing to dominate. Oh, finding a player under the basket. Is that Odom finally with his first basket? Or that was Odom with the assist that time. But we've got the Lakers down 3. No Bosch in the game as well. So there we go. I just haven't been able to get to Bosch the last couple of times offensively. Though a corner 3. Shout out. Hey, yo, we haven't seen a 3 in a minute. It is, I guess we need to watch the other game to see a 3-pointer in this one. And in Blazers Raptors 2026 version, Raptors only down 8 now, 3 minutes left. We'll see if they're able to go on a little bit of a flurry. Oh, not able to get the 3 to go. That would have helped for sure. Shaedon Sharpe, come on, he can put the team on his back. It is what it is. Kobe the rebound. He's not giving it up, chat. You know, hey, yo, 2 minutes left. The pull up. We've got, oh, he does pass. Give him credit. Odom dumps it inside. The big man with the post up. They kind of been running this big man option a little bit when he checked into the game. We'll double check who this is as well too. Is this Min? How do you say his last name? M-I-H-M? It might be this guy, number 50. I guess we can do a verification here and see what we've got. He had 12 on the game, 5 for 8, 2 for 3. Oh no, number 31. Hey yo, we need to find out who number 50 is for this team, if it's worth diving in. Brian Cook. Is this Brian Cook? This could be a Brian. Shout out. 31. Oh, no, 31. That's who we just looked up. 31. He is 31. I don't know what number I thought he was when I was looking at the screen. So, yeah, mid 31. Shout out. That is him there. 29 minutes in this one. And the half-court pressure is applied, and it does force the turnover. The pass ends up being thrown to a pass that is thrown over Villanueva's head. So the pressure forces the pressure, which forces the bad pass. The domino effect defense does commit the turnover. The timeout with the Lakers only down 2 now. Phil Jackson trying to bring his team back. Oh, there's Kobe on the bench for those couple of seconds, like we said. Hey, yo. You know, the end of the quarter is right around the corner. End of the quarter, right around the corner. Get him a little break. Get him, well, our guy Bill Raftery shout out, but he would definitely say get him a little below. It is what it is. You got to keep the lineage, got to keep the lineage of the announcer phrases alive. Shout out. But the Lakers fans are starting to, in the rerun, be alive with the third quarter performance here by Kobe. And I guess, we're obviously got to lock in for the fourth quarter as well, too. But the free throw attempts for the Lakers here will help tie the matchup potentially. And the game is tied. Oh, Kobe in transition. The slam dunk. And there's the crowd going crazy. It has been a slow grind game like that. There hasn't been a lot of those two-way opportunities, those fast opportunities, or, him getting like highlights, driving to the rim, any type of crazy, just, Sports Center type of plays. For the most part, it has been him working. It has been him hitting tough shots. Again, shout out to the Raptors in a way for a good defense as well, too. There are probably, in any case, the little things that you can do to always ensure yourself is having the best performance possible, denying him the basketball, double teaming him. Like literally with the fact that everybody is playing so poorly, you probably could have just triple teamed him and still won the game. It is what it is. But for the most part, there is a level of effort there. They are trying to rotate out to baskets, trying to get some rebounds and stuff as well too. It just seems like their overall offensive capability outside of Bosch might not be the most consistent thing that you can rely on. And then, of course, if you're the Lakers, you've got Kobe Bryant on the other side carrying you. And if he's on a heat check performance, his heat check is going to be able to outmatch Bosch's heat check at this time as well. Oh, and there's Villanueva missing the layup underneath that time. You start to see the pressure and the effort get to the players, affect them. Kobe, the fall away. Uh-oh. Is that the last couple of baskets he was missing there in the third? Does that mean he's not going to get to 80? I still think he ends up getting there. It is what it is. But after 3 quarters now, was he at the 60-point threshold? I guess here. Fourth quarter he had... No, he still had 28, and it was an incredible free throw performance. It is what it is. Hey, yo, chat. We're cruising past our bedtime, but we can't. I guess we can't give up early on the Kobe performance. We can skim through here and see what happens in this fourth quarter. I'll just skip ahead and see where we're at. The last 5. Oh, the Lakers are up 12 at this point, so maybe we just need to see where they started to turn the corner in this one and change things around. They had 95-88 with 9 minutes left in the fourth. Hey, yo. We'll just, I guess, see maybe the fourth quarter spiral start to happen. The slide, like the first time out for the Lakers. Hey, yo, now we've gone back. Now we've messed it all up. Maybe we just say goodnight, chat. It is what it is. Call it a day. I don't know. Be back Sunday. We've got some incredible playoff games on the lineup for Sunday's live stream. Of course, we'll be reacting to the first game, which I believe, if I'm getting it right, it goes AFC, NFC. So we'll be reacting to Patriots, Broncos. while we watch that Seahawks-Rams game. You'll want to join us for that. Kobe at the free throw line. There they are, up 4 already with 10 minutes left in the... Oh, wait, did I just skip back? As I say, did I skip back to the third? But the TV graphic literally didn't switch it from third to fourth, and they just did. This is still on the rerun. So, shout out. It is what it is. But they've got the 91-85 lead as they enter the fourth. Oh, and Kobe starts the fourth by missing a layup. Hot start. You love to see it. Should have drawn a foul. And the Raptors, nobody even wants to take a shot. They just passed up on like 2 open threes. It was like open 3, past a corner, back to open 3, and then he just passed it again. So maybe his percentages are low. And there's Bosh, the underrated Chris Bosh, who did have the underrated game that nobody's going to talk about. 14-7, just kind of sneaky. 2 points, not getting the fouls, just keeping working away. And the limited touches as well, too. Not necessarily like feeding him everything. Hey, yo, Kobe for 3 that time, the jab. Not able to get it to work there. But the offensive rebounding by the Lakers has been something as well, too. Oh, and he's triple team, quadruple team. Fouled. Shout out. But, yeah, I mean, like we're saying, chat, again, I think it has to be, as it is with 81, obviously held in regard for the final number that he was able to get to. But this was an absolute necessity that they needed this performance, and he delivered. How many guys deliver an 81-point performance when you need them to deliver an 81-point performance? This is the peak of NBA offense as well. And like we're saying, Kobe with his crossover in the analytical era, I mean, we're definitely a little bit of ways away from that, but he does have that 3-point range. And now with the game starting to cross back the other way, kind of through the analytical era, you see the focus on the mid-range and the footwork and the skill a little bit starting to get back into the mix. And Kobe is kind of that, like his type of player is that player on the other side, but it's just like on this first side of the analytical era, where it's before we went over into all the 3-point shooting stuff and the guys just standing in the corner and doing nothing and moving on offense. And, now maybe there is a little bit more of the rounded skill being brought back into it. But the mid-range baseline, I mean, I'm going to try to find a court once it warms back up outside and just do those little baseline pull-ups. That jab step, one dribble, throw it, pull up baseline. Durant has that in his bag as well, too. We'll have to make sure we find the right matchups to be able to attack to get into that shot effectively. It is what it is. But that is definitely going to be something that is going to be added to the repertoire in 2026. That was on our New Year's resolution, was to add new basketball moves to the bag. But, hey, the foul call, this is the Shea quarter for Kobe in this one. It is what it is. We've got them with a 9-point lead with 8 minutes left. The Raptors spiral. Ayo, and shout out to Toronto. Again, great roster from back in the day. Just somebody had to be on the wrong end, chat. Pause. It is what it is. So, like we said, we will be back Sunday. We've got NFL playoff games, NFL Conference Championship weekend. It will be a ton of fun. We've got Sinners, reactions part 2 to the Oscars. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to the live streams. You can follow us on the podcast feeds. And if you want to message us at REMINGTOM on Instagram as well, too, you can connect with us over there. So, yeah, thank you all for jumping on with us tonight. Of course, rest in peace to the legend as well. We were rivals, of course, when he played. But, obviously, it's great to go back and remember the careers that he had and the special performances on a night like this as well, too. 20 years removed from one of the greatest scoring nights in NBA history, Kobe's 81. Shout out, and we will see you all in a couple of days. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.